My brothers and sisters, the problems we face are real, but so are the solutions. We can rebuild our economy, we can create jobs, we can restore faith in governance, but we must commit to the hard work of change. You were not appointed to occupy space. You were appointed to solve problems. Let me remind you of the social contract we have entered into. The Ghanaian people expect us to deliver, and we must not with excuses, but with results. I've said before and I repeat now, this is the legacy term of my presidency. I intend to make it count. I intend for it to matter. And I expect that every member of this administration will do the same. We must work with a sense of urgency, and President Jonathan spoke about the 4-year term. Our young people are tired of waiting interminably. Our farmers, our workers, our entrepreneurs, especially our women and youth, want to see policies that work for them. They want fairness, they want opportunity, they want to live in dignity and prosperity. Indeed, they are not asking for handouts. They're asking to be given a fair shot. And let's give them just that. The task before us requires leadership that is empathetic, that is disciplined and accountable, leadership that is not defined by titles, but by service, that is not defined by slogans, but by substance. And so I issue this challenge to each of you to lead your sectors with vision and integrity, to champion innovation, make decisions based on facts and data and not on guesswork. Spend public funds wisely and judiciously. Reject opulence. And never forget, your first duty is to the people of Ghana and not to your own political survivor. Your first duty is to the people of Ghana and not to your own political survivor, not to the applause you will get and not to your personal gain. I want each of you to leave this retreat with a clarity of purpose and with the humility to keep learning. This job is not about knowing it all. It is about listening. For example, I'll stay true to the values. And please remember, when any of us fall short, I will not hesitate to act. Any of us fall short, I will not hesitate to act. I didn't think that was what you would clap for. Let us leave here with renewed determination. Let us work not for applause, but for results. Let us lead with honor, and let us remember always that the true measure of our success will be the lives we touch and the legacy we leave behind. And finally, let me remind us all that the destiny of our party and our future success depends on the legacy that this current administration will establish. And so we must give it our all. We must work together to make our party's future successful. I therefore have the privilege and honor to declare this. We must give it our all. We must work together to make our party's future successful. I therefore have the privilege and honor to declare this executive leadership program duly open. The Bar Association is a very prominent association amongst all the professional bodies in Ghana. And you have been strong advocates for the rule of law, for respect for human rights, for respect for the Constitution, freedoms, and all that. And I believe that that role you play is important for our society to progress. We have started the National Constitution Review exercise, and we expect that the Bar Association will take a great interest in it. I believe they've started, they're going round, and when they have finished, I'm sure that they're calling on different groups. They probably would call on the Ghana Bar Association to find out if you have any views about it. And one of the issues we're confronted with is the issue of corruption and accountability in office. And so the expectation of Ghanaians is that this government will mount a stronger fight against corruption. And that is why we set up the Operation Recover All the Loot. It's not meant to witch hunt anybody, but it's supposed to be an instrument in a vehicle where it is possible for people who are whistleblowers and have evidence of corruption to be able to channel their reports to the appropriate source and have them investigated. And so before I took over, I set up a small committee. It was very helpful. We put in a hotline. They got more than 2,000 calls from different people alleging different things. Of course, some of them were useless allegations, but others too were important allegations. And so after synthesizing all the reports that were received, we received the official reports from the committee and we handed it over to the Attorney General. And some of what the Attorney General is dealing with are some of the issues that came up in the oral. And so I just wanted to clarify that it's not an instrument for witch hunting anybody. It's an instrument for assisting in the fight against corruption. We're committed to the protection of human rights and investigation of significant killings or murders that have remained uninvestigated. And so I've urged the police and the investigative organizations to look more actively in cases like Ahmed Swali, and that is how come a first suspect has been arrested. We're hoping that his interrogation will lead to further arrests of people. There are several other cases like the J.B. Dankwa murder case, and we're asking that it be expedited in terms of the prosecution that is taking place and for investigations to be carried out to find out if any other persons were involved in some of those. And so those are ongoing, and then we also have the issue I thought I should raise of the judiciary and the perception of the judiciary. I believe that it is not anecdotal. I mean, several surveys asking Ghanaians, what their opinion of the judiciary is have not come out positively. And I believe that it is a duty for all of us to work to make sure that we have a judiciary that is respected. Year in, year out, you hear 12 billion cedis misappropriated, 15 billion cedis misappropriated. And how we deal with these cases are very difficult because of the constitutional procedure, parliamentary accounts committee and all that. But after that has happened, we must have a fast-track court where we're able to deal with this so that we deter people from just misusing government funds like that. Government is open to working with you, particularly on our side of the political divide. There's this perception that we have a problem with the legal fraternity and things like that. I think that if you look at the kind of people, Marietta and all of us sitting here, we're not people who have any such animosity towards the judiciary and the legal fraternity. So our doors are open, our hands are open, and if you think that there's anything that you should bring to our attention, don't hesitate at all. The people of Ghana are asking for accountability, and we must create a situation where everybody who agrees to serve must know that he will be held accountable to the people. We can't afford to fail. We've seen some things that are happening in other countries. And let's not think that Ghana is immune from that. And I can tell you, our young people are getting frustrated and desperate. And if we don't take drastic action and we think that it's going to be business as usual, we will be shocked at what would happen in this country. And so, it's not my demand, it's not a threat, as Nana Jane said, it is a promise that will hold public officers accountable. To get there, we must reset, and reset with discipline, with purpose and unity. On government's part, I wish to assure you that we will maintain the current fiscal discipline and work to maintain a conducive environment for your businesses to thrive. Let me take the opportunity to commend those of you who have responded to the cedi's appreciation by reducing prices of your products and services, and thereby passing some of the relief from the hardship to Ghanaians. And so, Oka and all of you, thank you very much. GPRTU, thank you very much. And so, for those of you who have not responded yet, please pass on some of the cedi appreciation to Ghanaians. Today, I wish to reaffirm that our commitment to the people of the Savannah region will never shake. Despite the work we have done in stabilizing the economy, Ghana is not immune from the shocks of global events. Recent events in the Middle East, which involve an exchange of missiles between Israel and Iran, have started to escalate crude oil prices dramatically. I've asked our Minister of Finance and Minister of Energy to keep a close eye on the development and model the possible impacts on our petroleum prices and prepare measures to protect the recent gains that we have made. Education remains. My brothers and sisters, the problems we face are real, but so are the solutions. We can rebuild our economy, we can create jobs, we can restore faith in governance, but we must commit to the hard work of change. You were not appointed to occupy space. You were appointed to solve problems. Let me remind you of the social contract we have entered into. The Ghanaian people expect us to deliver, and we must not with excuses, but with results. I've said before and I repeat now, this is the legacy term of my presidency. I intend to make it count. I intend for it to matter. And I expect that every member of this administration will do the same. We must work with a sense of urgency, and President Jonathan spoke about the 4-year term. Our young people are tired of waiting interminably. Our farmers, our workers, our entrepreneurs, especially our women and youth, want to see policies that work for them. They want fairness, they want opportunity, they want to live in dignity and prosperity. Indeed, they are not asking for handouts. They're asking to be given a fair shot. And let's give them just that. The task before us requires leadership that is empathetic, that is disciplined and accountable, leadership that is not defined by titles, but by service, that is not defined by slogans, but by substance. And so I issue this challenge to each of you to lead your sectors with vision and integrity, to champion innovation, make decisions based on facts and data and not on guesswork. Spend public funds wisely and judiciously. Reject opulence. And never forget, your first duty is to the people of Ghana and not to your own political survival, not to the applause you will get, and not to your personal gain. I want each of you to leave this retreat with a clarity of purpose and with the humility to keep learning. This job is not about knowing it all. It is about listening. For example, I'll stay true to the values. And please remember, when any of us fall short, I will not hesitate to act. I didn't think that was what you would clap for. Let us leave here with renewed determination. Let us work not for applause, but for results. Let us lead with honor, and let us remember always that the true measure of our success will be the lives we touch and the legacy we leave behind. And finally, let me remind us all that the destiny of our party and our future success depends on the legacy that this current administration will establish. And so we must give it our all. We must work together to make our party's future successful. I therefore have the privilege and honor to declare this executive leadership program duly open. The Bar Association is a very prominent association amongst all the professional bodies in Ghana. And you have been strong advocates for the rule of law, for respect for human rights, for respect for the Constitution, freedoms, and all that. And I believe that that role you play is important for our society to progress. We have started the National Constitution Review exercise, and we expect that the Bar Association will take a great interest in it. I believe they've started, they're going round, and when they have finished, I'm sure that they're calling on different groups. They probably would call on the Ghana Bar Association to find out if you have any views about it. And one of the issues we're confronted with is the issue of corruption and accountability in office. And so the expectation of Ghanaians is that this government will mount a stronger fight against corruption. And that is why we set up the Operation Recover All the Loot. It's not meant to witch hunt anybody, but it's supposed to be an instrument and a vehicle where it is possible for people who are whistleblowers and have evidence of corruption to be able to channel their reports to the appropriate source and have them investigated. And so before I took over, I set up a small committee. It was very helpful. We put in a hotline. They got more than 2,000 calls from different people alleging different things. Of course, some of them were useless allegations, but others too were important allegations. And so after synthesizing all the reports that were received, we received the official reports from the committee and we handed it over to the Attorney General. And some of what the Attorney General is dealing with are some of the issues that came up in the oral. And so I just wanted to clarify that it's not an instrument for witch hunting anybody. It's an instrument for assisting in the fight against corruption. We're committed to the protection of human rights and investigation of significant killings or murders that have remained uninvestigated. And so I've urged the police and the investigative organizations to look more actively in cases like Ahmed Swali, and that is how come a first suspect has been arrested. We're hoping that his interrogation will lead to further arrests of people. There are several other cases like the J.B. Dankwa murder case, and we're asking that it be expedited in terms of the prosecution that is taking place and for investigations to be carried out to find out if any other persons were involved in some of those. And so those are ongoing, and then we also have the issue I thought I should raise of the judiciary and the perception of the judiciary. I believe that it is not anecdotal. I mean, several surveys asking Ghanaians, what their opinion of the judiciary is have not come out positively. And I believe that it is a duty for all of us to work to make sure that we have a judiciary that is respected. Year in, year out, you hear 12 billion cedis misappropriated, 15 billion cedis misappropriated. And how we deal with these cases are very difficult because of the constitutional procedure, parliamentary accounts committee and all that. But after that has happened, we must have a fast-track court where we're able to deal with this so that we deter people from just misusing government funds like that. Government is open to working with you, particularly on our side of the political divide. There's this perception that we have a problem with the legal fraternity and things like that. I think that if you look at the kind of people, Marietta and all of us sitting here, we're not people who have any such animosity towards the judiciary and the legal fraternity. So our doors are open, our hands are open, and if you think that there's anything that you should bring to our attention, don't hesitate at all. The people of Ghana are asking for accountability. And we must create a situation where everybody who agrees to serve must know that he will be held accountable to the people. We can't afford to fail. We've seen some things that are happening in other countries. And let's not think that Ghana is immune from that. And I can tell you, our young people are getting frustrated and desperate. And if we don't take drastic action and we think that it's going to be business as usual, we will be shocked at what would happen in this country. And so, it's not my demand, it's not a threat, as Nana Jane said, it is a promise that will hold public officers accountable. To get there, we must reset, and reset with discipline, with purpose and unity. On government's part, I wish to assure you that we'll maintain the current fiscal discipline and work to maintain a conducive environment for your businesses to thrive. Let me take the opportunity to commend those of you who have responded to the cedi's appreciation by reducing prices of your products and services, and thereby passing some of the relief from the hardship to Ghanaians. And so, Oka and all of you, thank you very much. GPRTU, thank you very much. And so for those of you who have not responded yet, please pass on some of the cedi appreciation to Ghanaians. Today, I wish to reaffirm that our commitment to the people of the Savannah region will never shake. Despite the work we have done in stabilizing the economy, Ghana is not immune from the shocks of global events. Recent events in the Middle East, which involve an exchange of missiles between Israel and Iran, have started to escalate crude oil prices dramatically. I've asked our Minister of Finance and Minister of Energy to keep a close eye on the development and model the possible impacts on our petroleum prices and prepare measures to protect the recent gains that we have made. Education remains. My brothers and sisters, the problems we face are real, but so are the solutions. We can rebuild our economy, we can create jobs, we can restore faith in governance, but we must commit to the hard work of change. You were not appointed to occupy space. You were appointed to solve problems. Let me remind you of the social contract we have entered into. The Ghanaian people expect us to deliver, and we must not with excuses, but with results. I've said before and I repeat now, this is the legacy term of my presidency. I intend to make it count. I intend for it to matter. And I expect that every member of this administration will do the same. We must work with a sense of urgency, and President Jonathan spoke about the 4-year term. Our young people are tired of waiting interminably. Our farmers, our workers, our entrepreneurs, especially our women and youth, want to see policies that work for them. They want fairness, they want opportunity, they want to live in dignity and prosperity. Indeed, they are not asking for handouts. They're asking to be given a fair shot. And let's give them just that. The task before us requires leadership that is empathetic, that is disciplined and accountable, leadership that is not defined by titles, but by service, that is not defined by slogans, but by substance. And so I issue this challenge to each of you to lead your sectors with vision and integrity, to champion innovation, make decisions based on facts and data and not on guesswork. Spend public funds wisely and judiciously. Reject opulence. And never forget, your first duty is to the people of Ghana and not to your own political survival, not to the applause you will get, and not to your personal gain. I want each of you to leave this retreat with a clarity of purpose and with the humility to keep learning. This job is not about knowing it all. It is about listening. For example, I'll stay true to the values. And please remember, when any of us fall short, I will not hesitate to act. I didn't think that was what you would clap for. Let us leave here with renewed determination. Let us work not for applause, but for results. Let us lead with honor, and let us remember always that the true measure of our success will be the lives we touch and the legacy we leave behind. And finally, let me remind us all that the destiny of our party and our future success depends on the legacy that this current administration will establish. And so we must give it our all. We must work together to make our party's future successful. I therefore have the privilege and honor to declare this executive leadership program duly open. The Bar Association is a very prominent association amongst all the professional bodies in Ghana. And you have been strong advocates for the rule of law, for respect for human rights, for respect for the Constitution, freedoms, and all that. And I believe that that role you play is important for our society to progress. We have started the National Constitution Review exercise, and we expect that the Bar Association will take a great interest in it. I believe they've started, they're going round, and when they have finished, I'm sure that they're calling on different groups. They probably would call on the Ghana Bar Association to find out if you have any views about it. And one of the issues we're confronted with is the issue of corruption and accountability in office. And so the expectation of Ghanaians is that this government will mount a stronger fight against corruption. And that is why we set up the Operation Recover All the Loot. It's not meant to witch hunt anybody, but it's supposed to be an instrument and a vehicle where it is possible for people who are whistleblowers and have evidence of corruption to be able to channel their reports to the appropriate source and have them investigated. And so before I took over, I set up a small committee. It was very helpful. We put in a hotline. They got more than 2,000 calls from different people alleging different things. Of course, some of them were useless allegations, but others too were important allegations. And so after synthesizing all the reports that were received, we received the official reports from the committee and we handed it over to the Attorney General. And some of what the Attorney General is dealing with are some of the issues that came up in the aura. And so I just wanted to clarify that it's not an instrument for witch hunting anybody. It's an instrument for assisting in the fight against corruption. We're committed to the protection of human rights and investigation of significant killings or murders that have remained uninvestigated. And so I've urged the police and the investigative organizations to look more actively in cases like Ahmed Swali, and that is how come a first suspect have a fast-track court where we're able to deal with this so that we deter people from just misusing. To get there, we must reset, and reset with discipline, with purpose and unity. On government's part, I wish to assure you that we'll maintain the current fiscal discipline and work to maintain a conducive environment for your businesses to thrive. Let me take the opportunity to commend those of you who have responded to the cedi's appreciation by reducing prices of your products and services, and thereby passing some of the relief from the hardship to Ghanaians. And so, Oka and all of you, thank you very much. GPR to you, thank you very much. And so for those of you who have not responded yet, please pass on some of the cedi appreciation to Ghanaians. Today, I wish to reaffirm that our commitment to the people of the Savannah region will never shake. Despite the work we have done in stabilizing the economy, Ghana is not immune from the shocks of global events. Recent events in the Middle East, which involve an exchange of missiles between Israel and Iran, have started to escalate crude oil prices dramatically. I've asked our Minister of Finance and Minister of waiting interminably. Our farmers, our workers, our entrepreneurs, especially our women and youth, want to see policies that work for them. They want fairness, they want opportunity, they want to live in dignity and prosperity. Indeed, they are not asking for handouts. They're asking to be given a fair shot. And let's give them just that. The task before us requires leadership that is empathetic, that is disciplined and accountable, leadership that is not defined by titles, but by service, that is not defined by slogans, but by substance. And so I issue this challenge to each of you to lead your sectors with vision and integrity, to champion innovation, make decisions based on facts and data and not on guesswork.
Andy Mollers, thanks for coming. Ellen Afri Anim is here. Na it is an age na hon mama a year disability friendly day. Unfortunately, me check it so it's somewhere December, so I was lost. But granted, say a world disability there. In fact, when you so now wish you and women who are physically challenged a beautiful moment. Now, your mom who said disability is not inability. We have a lot of great guys as Sebi, 1 year disabled, and yet they have done great things in our country. But to all of you who are physically challenged, to our brothers and sisters who are disabled, Alana Free and Nim, when you crop for no Yama Munina Afishaba. On the Mollers is welcome back to watch you live from Sacramento, CA. Hamidou Sule, I'll see you. That's right. Emma. Sure. Okay. Akaku Godwin. Richard Benji is also here. The Go Papa, I don't want to know. The Go Papa, Akwe guy. So I don't know, a dance champion. The whole week, I had the Go Papa. Next week, we're going to take a new champion. But for now, the Go Papa. 100.5. Kwajo Fiagbe, thanks for joining us. I see you. Hey, and then so Kwajo Fiagbe. Just why Crano? The go, because we start now. Kwajo Fiagbe, they bow Facebook. A fanta bruta. And Diana back up joining. That's how we do it on the Citizen Show live on Accra 100.5 of Aisha Ahmed, thanks for joining us. But my young Kai at Tiffany and her force and commotion because positively we'll be locking horns with a former Minister of Finance. Menoka say on presidential advisor on economic matters to the President of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. By now, Mahuni American Assembly, none other say Honorable Seth Tepe, and you need to be dim punim pufia. And come on, no more champ, more dead. But my main faconia will soon, I mean, man, pim the Tom Makwaba, Pianco, and Pop to say. Yeah, that's it. You have a Kajakum, Yatrakonia Bruce, yes, why, you have some Ghana. We didn't know to that Ghana Casamafune. I am the voice for the voiceless. Ushiamia, call me the gatekeeper of the nation. Ghana, you know what's my name? I was no mind PC, me, Mamincha, Muranum, Amu, Achim, Sino. That's right. And as Kwame Kwachi Bomechi Domye said, producer one. Hey, Nasa Metena, yes, who was sick, with you. Send it when you judge one who I'm a pill. What? Kwame Kwachi was sick or Yadu or Yare. One who now every no. The bottom so Yare. Messi Amon send Kwame Kwachi Mumbo, Mumunimun. As a Majumania decade. Mun say and a mun surprise kwame kwache. Ne won fa no. But I see senior odo citizen shoe a tifo. Any citizen shoe ahefo no. What na fi enye yi. Ene bra de ne yade abetra. Hey, mo mo say kwame kwache. Akwe guy. And ma Memphis the PC my producer Kwame Kwache so boy chidom Emmanuel ai and so I na de ni bi eno nti ye on frema mu a ye guso eje yedin. We also live on CTV Ghana's #1 nti ubetimi so ajoin ye ewo CTV me bacho Aisha Med ene Dari Danyagri any anuanum aka mo joine ya me pacho aya na mo so ma share amayen, and that is how you betimi ama no kre no etwentron. But ora ba me nso akaza, and sometimes aya niam be esre, you know, funny to me, and ni ora ba me kan say ono sabi osusu say onye skeni, which I know so ska. But for political reasons, ususu say onyeskani. And that nisika sem nyina na dream uti owo. Or say he's rich in ideas. He's rich in the brain. It is only fiscal cash. And you see, in the name of appeal to pity, we no can say a poor man can be president. Nobody has said only rich people should be president. Nobody said that. Certainly, you one who chire one more. You one more to ohia fitemo. Me chire ohia ekum koto eto anya prada so. We have people like that. Yeah, they deserve roles in leadership. Eti yebe wura sa asemnum na yenunu ne kakra. Ya do raba me asam na betun sene na ya massage ne kakra. I know that akuti ani nyina ekoma akompre ku Canada Japan. Of course, I am more issues. I'm not too interested. But you be wura no because look, muntimi me ha Ghana. Tia me ye. Mo Ghana, mo Ghana, mbra Ghana su. You cannot send this economy to an unrecoverable ditch. And you John Dramani Mahama. And then Yankopo Dom Yenya Noa. Anka Ghana Gusu Ewra Angmana Donko Yensa Echibio. And you have people like that. And you call Remwa, Wamusenya no Ekasa Okroma. We will not allow that to happen. Because of politics, because some of you want to be flag bearers of MPP. No, we will still judge you by your words. We will still judge you by a drama Yadishamo Samoye. Or rather, a former vice president of the country, isn't it? He doubles as former chairman of the economic management team of Ghana. A baby be a fair economy or no stress soon see. Ya baby sensembi near the total economy when he was vice president. You near bisa say idea was so rich in ideas, rich in the brain. Did it reflect in all those sectors? And time, how rich was he in the brain? Time, how rich was Dr. Bamia in ideas? These are questions we are going to ask. Oh yeah, these are questions we are going to ask anyway. Eti yebe sejumano. Yebe sejumano ene ewie. But yenu ma mo Facebook, Mr. Mo. Aya na monso mo de mo comments aba na bibia I guy. Now, diplomatic first listener Babantino. Me kire consulate general, the ambassadors, high commissioners, one more Ghana in Sianamu Amanonino. And very, very fantastic. I said, I'm a kind of idea to Facebook. Or cano, oh, I use something to so. Na main kind of yeah. So, I'm just saying, Ghana for room and Mukosoro. Hey, Namo young for Ghana and Shabonsa. Namo may Ghana poto. Namasenya ahwade. Or say, I may not be rich, but I have rich ideas. poor people can also be president of Ghana. But I'm here to MMDCs because most of the time it's clear. Say, we will say Ken Japan, because we was kind of idea. So he's throwing jabs. And I'm going to subject same way to when he was chairman of the economic management team, to when he was vice president of the Republic of Ghana, to when he was flag bearer of MPP. Niabisa say, same are working rich ideas. No, how did those rich ideas impact the economy of Ghana? Because if you had rich ideas, I mean, you're sure I'm to about MPP. No. Your rich ideas should have reflected in the pocket of the people. Your rich ideas should have reflected on more trouble roads. Your rich ideas should have reflected in our health sector. Agenda 111. Were you able to finish just one and commit the key to Ghanaians? Certainly no. Your my wemu. Ama, Mami Lodina Mahama. And you sue Lodina Foundation. You see, I keep talking about this woman. Look, I don't care. I don't care whether or not I meet Lodina Mahama. But I care about Enyema Pa. Lodina Mahama didn't foundation ya Ebwa Ghana. A baby batra so meant me. That be like first lady should not behave to say Lodina Mahama. Ghana would have been a very beautiful place to live. Lodina Mahama was in opposition. Because you remember, say His Excellency the President, Beka said, Nini maybe one more name, Mammy waited tin more room. Any Crofoki Kabum making sure, say, very prime but vulnerable areas, sir. Sabi, a ba apomode someone queen or basic full hospitals, SCC Honum. And Mammy Lodina Bahama, yes, and she was in opposition. At the time when Mammy Lodina Mahama, SCC hospitals, Eya Doye, Ebonyanka, extra fees for brilliant but needy scholars, you know. That time, na Ora Bambia, and Nanado Danko Akufo say, Omusu hospitals. Now check this. Lodina Mahama, when you're president. Lodina Mahama, when you're chairman of the economic management team. Yeah? Lodina Mahama, Obianko Tuaba Enyino. So Lodina Mahama can decide to say, Sabita Frate, Sabin Pennyfodim, will be a Jumangumi bottom. It means you sumisi Kenya, me were man and animal, it just some help. But Nanado Danko Kufa the Mudie. You could we also to Abamon. Nanado Danko Kufa the Mudie. Yes, your taxes, yet one a triano. What more fine judgment? Nanado Danko Kufa no Bamiamudie. There were some statutory funds, they say Heritage Fund, Stabilization Fund, Ghana Infrastructure Fund, Energy Sector Levy. There were funds that John Dramani Mahama, including Sinking Fund, were just to one who say, what more fine. On top of that, Ghana Fortune at war. On top of that, one more called Bobby Buja. In fact, Mahama free so na Ghana can 122 billion. Na Nakufa no Rabamia free so na Ghana can abalu from 122 billion to 721 billion. See Ghana on the other. And yet, agenda 111 na Musi Mant me and commit Udi and Kamuya back when I'm fucking insurance. Or meant me again. Lodina Mahama Barbesia. Tio, Lodina Mahama Barbesia work fishing. At me via all these hospitals. Now, Bekabi me and Tia say, rich ideas. Rich ideas, sir. No, you see, sometimes, so that you follow the conversation and have a day. Oh yeah, I'm telling you. My boy, my trans, me say have a day. Come, me pesi akuti ade bakubi na yemra. Let the people follow. Let the people follow.
The lives of the people of Agbobolosi matter as much as the lives of the people of East Legon or cantonments. Enti yeba hano yebesi toilets amamu yebesi toilets in all yebesi 8-unit toilets, 4 8-unit toilets, 32 toilets in all, among the people of Agbogbolo. Sorry now, Oko toilet, we are obejari, and yes, obejari, and you see bath houses, so Akaho, you see 24-unit bath houses, and 80 in all, 24-unit bath houses. So there, Mubenya, Mubeko, Namujari, Napa, Namujari, the lives of the people of Agbogbolo matter as much as the lives of the people of East Legon or cantonments. Enti yeba hano yebesi toilets amamu yebesi toilets in all yebesi
anamebwa sabi udi ya facha me but adwuma we assemblyman adwuma I just say, hey, Bia, yes, this huge edifice, Bia. Then you, as vice president, know about assemblyman Juma. So these are the rich ideas. When John Dramani Mahama, Uti Penso, out in the contest elections, Charlie John Dramani Mahama is too big. Mami Yusu Lodina Mahama. Mama Lodina Mahama, you need be a wesi. Hospitals need be a wesi. Because me kobo John Dramani Mahama dia, Mamia will collapse. Oh yes, because me kasi John Dramani Mahama. Rich hospital.
Sorry now, John
Dramani Mahama can say, okay, me you so rich. Me you so University of Ghana Medical Center. Or almost some of the end Besia. Oni New Rata Mills, a committee 100-bed facility hospital, Atomic, opposite the Atomic Dam Police Station. Or about me, some of the end Beba. Mama will be confused. Me can rich ideas be. Look, there have been a lot of gendarmes in this country. There have been a lot of they used against Ghanaians in 2016 elections. And then trying to form a bit dismantling throne. Because the moment we keep quiet, this rich idea statement will fester. Meanwhile, some rich so-called idea, and Ghana, when you were vice president of this country, when you were chairman of the economic management team, John Dramani Mahama no make so a rich idea no. Uko Kumasi Osi say where hospital, Afari Hospital, Kumawu Hospital, polyclinics Ahudwa, John Dramani Mahama, this Siram Ghana Fanengina. And me say John Dramani Mahama, he's in his own world. Mama me forget it, John. Mama me says Lordina Mahama. Mrs. Lordina Mahama cry, you cannot beat her when it comes to building hospitals and giving it out. Or Babisia, a will position. TMC hospitals. Or Babisia. Lordina Mahama, your baby, with no disrespect to women, please. But the point is that, you know, a man can come who when you say ma, and not mistress on Babisia, but with no disrespect to women. I believe in the capabilities of women. What men can do, you know, most of the time, women can do as well. I believe in your intelligence as well. I believe in the capacity of women. Me, I'm not a misogynist. I do not hate women. I love women. Me doma. Na me mpema. Oh, kwa mama, fantastic. I feel I'm a human. Huh? Where Nana Owusu a town Brimpong the second maternity ward. Ate susu ana kwa me ate busu anere ate susu me wa cho any ade to Facebook no o ba be sia ne siwi wo wieye ano diki no ma Ghana fo won ka se mo ye adwuma bosome ahina mo benya mo first kanemre Lordina Mahama wo dia ta. This is what Mrs. Lordina Mahama could do even on your vice president, on your president, or your babisia no position. Over Bamia rich ideas ni nyina had no anya we bi kwa me pa chow mama limit ma me no nya weapon we she has done a lot. Why does that monkey twa? Don't worry, if you are not getting it when you get them, fine, but where monkey twa made the example here, so monkey twa. So the point I am making is say Obama cannot keep on talking about rich ideas when Obabisia Lordina Mahama kure kano and mame baby a wutie mbia. Now that you are in power, I want to see more. because mama si eja wo krom ha emwa wo de beboa wo mwe ni bie enkankan ma ene nkwada no awrade ani bechipa me pacho entie no bia beka continue building, consider the vulnerable ehiafo say na de bia why wadwene so obeboam continue supporting them. Hey, na ka first lady bia ya adwuma to say Mrs. Lodina Mahama, the only first lady I met me aka say me de ne beto to ma me Lodina Mahama ho eye Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings yire no Mrs. Kunadu Ajman Rawlings time wa ye 31st December movement Kwame fantastic me ba to mo hwe CTV no mahunu wanyina Lodina Mahama o owura ba me rich idea ni nyina wanti mama anya we bi oba besia Mrs. Lodina Mahama enema wo mu nyina o the woman no opposition won no ye ni nyina won no ye ni nyina eti me nyan ma mo Facebook no mo ese me starting mo kompa. Yes, because we SOB a share be 10 times, 15 times. 100 million billion 1,000 times. Maybe I know say that this one is 100 million billion 1,000 times. Say yes, you are in your own world. So if Mrs. Lodina Mahama, you see the reason why we should keep sharing this, and they say, and introduce was system too much. Because in your rubber me can ye German that Abaka say normal or rich ideas. So the elections said you try man because of rich ideas. Meanwhile, your man power and the rich ideas me going to be. And I make sure so Babesio no crank or rich ideas. No opposition. Nani kunya president. No bien tria ne ka. Na akatua ne kura ne kundia ne nko. Wotimi sisi adan we the kini magana for. And these hospitals anya bako were sisi bebre. And so a whole MPP government entimenye hospital bako in agenda 111 and from Ghana for. Onu kura Lodina Mahama nka so rich ideas. No rubber me so rich ideas. Oh, if you think I am being biased, let's go on this way. As chairman of the economic management team, time where MPP A3 abenya no so na inflation rate at the same. These are the basic economic indicators. Now inflation rate at the 23.something%. 6 months time. John Dramani Mahama buy inflation that's saying about 18+%. It's John Dramani Mahama no crank us all rich ideas no. John Dramani Mahama credit makweni mami so ura to forcing. Wo ura to forcing. Eno ura sia manua. Wo crank us all rich ideas in just 6 months. Omo move inflation from 23% about 18%. Rati. Ahine penka sampa. Ankre hinim nedidi. Inflation rate is just one of them. Consider exchange rate. Owura John Dramani Mahama time na 4 cedis 20 pesos to $1 or 4 cedis to $1 meboa. Ano owura Bamia and another Darko for the country say he's the economic messiah. Nigerians also economic wizard. And to run your neighbor, why you Bank of Ghana, obey your name. Yeah, Owura Mahama no only economist. And yet, by virtue of his position as vice president to Owura Atamios, a radin for the currency, now you're chairman of the economic management team. No, Otimi $1 to see the 4 cities to $1. Economic wizard and economic messiah nearby dollar na free 4 cities across 17 cities to $1. Rich ideas way and Owura Bami also rich ideas way rich ideas that you could not even affect the appreciation of the Ghanaian city. Obi to say Canada Japan put say or my president that. So it's difficult to fault Canada Japan for now. Oh, go my president that. And the Americans say, but who the you can't say or my vice president that. But what about vice president that? And you have acted as president so many times when the president was away. So many times. John Dramani Mahama time 54 billion borrow yeah. Put look and they'll do them na tria. as we have a Heathrow Airport. The small monies John Dramani Mahama Munyaye, to me the infrastructure, more roads, overpass. Look, overpass secret wopukwasi. John Mahama mun secure France no. Yes, been sida West Africa no. John Mahama mun secure France no. Time overpass no. John Mahama mun secure France na no moko. Obeche bi lamte. John Mahama mun secure South France no. In fact, ansana MPP kraba no. Na John Dramani Mahama mo IMF from Kwe no ba kopa no Argentina ka 2 tranches na Kufuor Samba G 2 tranches de ka ho. Owura Bamia, you see to the appropriation of the purse through the finance minister as head of the economy. Maybe rich ideas no. How did that impact Omina you woman? How did that impact Omina you woman? How did that impact on many women? And we will not sit down for people to throw dust into the eyes of the citizens of our country. A term is a view. We will become not to Nakoka. Yes, we will about me rich ideas. We need rich ideas. Be a wood, your man of power in this country, and we did not see it. And then, you're going to say, you're going to boy idea. No, so over about me, so rich ideas. And yes, sir. Hey. Most of them another rich idea. First one, the toilet. Second one,
affordable. And the mobile companies, no, you're being catcher in Kitaho. Now, the mobile phones, no, I'm a nipa, not Mafia, Watria, 1 city, 2 city, 1 city, 2 city, Kakaka, Nawatria, mobile phone before 80. Yeah, they saw scheme of air because we need everybody to have a smart device. We will make it easy for people. We will make access to mobile phones affordable. And the mobile companies, no, you're being catcher in Kitaho. Now, the mobile phones, no, I'm a nipa, not Mafia, Watria, 1 city, 2 city, 1 city, 2 city, Kakaka, Nawatria, mobile phone before 80. Yeah, they saw scheme of air because we need everybody to have a smart device. We will make it easy for people. We will make access to mobile phones affordable. And the mobile companies, no, you're being catcher in Kita.
Everybody, Jacopo. Nipe, Yajuma, Nipa, Juma, like handset in the boys. Yes, and TV. I brought Sambo, young Kutina. Oh, man, also day.
The mobile phones, no, I'm a nipa, not Mafia, Watria, 1 city, 2 city, 1 city, 2 city, Kakaka, Nawatria, mobile phone before 80. Yeah, they saw scheme of air because we need everybody to have a smart device. We will make it easy for people. We will make access to mobile phones affordable. And the mobile companies, no, you're being catcher in Kitaho. Now, the mobile phones, no, I'm a nipa, not Mafia, Watria, 1 city, 2 city, 1 city, 2 city, Kakaka, Nawatria, mobile phone before 80. Yeah, they saw scheme of air because we need everybody to have a smart device. We will make it easy for people. We will make access to mobile phones affordable. And the mobile companies, no, you're being catcher in Kitaho. Now, the mobile phones, no, I'm a nipa, not Mafia, Watria, 1 city, 2 city, 1 city, 2 city, Kakaka, Nawatria, mobile phone before 80. Yeah, they saw scheme of air because we need everybody to have a smart device. We will make it easy.
John Dramani Mahama cry first time. And impossible way mistakes in mistakes be on more repeat. On the RLG, I think we will gamble. I'm check laptops Emma university students. Say handset. In case you just joining us, what about me? I say, or you're rich in ideas, and I'm maybe say. Being rich in idea is super, but practically, how did it affect the economy of Ghana? then as vice president, who doubled as chairperson of the economic management team. Those are the questions I'm asking. The last part, so here is with my president there. I subscribe. Kwame Nkrumah ufru him to Kwame Nkrumah ufru him fitem, but Kwame Nkrumah ebe president of Ghana. So it is possible. Mahatma Gandhi no you hear ni to obe president in India. Lee Kuan Yew Uniska Bebre obe president Singapore. Abdul Tunku Rahman Oyuheni obe president in Malaysia. Sekou Toure no Oyuheni obe president in Guinea. In Nnamdi Azikiwe womnyina here for obe president in Nigeria. Samora Machel obe president in Mozambique. Look, Madiba on the friskam kakra. Madiba I can say hey Salasi Rastafari Makonnen ni diankasa no. But Mandela mo nyina na ekwe yesa o. Etu ohia ni de bia ye leaders de da. What I say? But we are talking about practicalizing the richness of ideas. Prince Kujo Fosuware, and Prince, I agree with you. Huh? And the mothers, I say you were VIP for 8 years, Massa. Hey, now what rich ideas to say? Anama Ghana Breyer for the past 8 years. Our rich ideas affected positively the exchange rate. Rich ideas, Orabamia, I appreciate a city to Mahama. No, I will say, be only rich ideas, Mahama to me keep dollar to city or 4 cities. Wow, what rich ideas! A peja city to dollar call about 17 Ghana cities. What are you talking about? No one's not catches all rich ideas. Hey, now before cry, sometimes I don't understand. Now my dream because Charlie. Say yo, scam. Say no the best president, scam. No my best scamming the whole country. Say Nana Kufa the best scamming Ghana. Say no more scamming Ghana. They come and scam the whole country. I where the MC Papa, right, Miss Rowe. Obi Baka say my bonny and my more idea with the why.
We are going to build a new economy,
fantastic.
An economy that is a growing economy. It is not going to be a economy. It will be an economy which is a job-creating economy. It will be a job-creating economy. It will be an economy where we are going to reduce the electricity bill. It will be an economy where we will increase the teacher training allowance and bring the nursing training allowance. If import duty is too high. The import duty is too high. As far as equipment and raw materials are concerned, under an MPP government, there will be no import duty on raw materials. We are going to build a new economy, an economy that is a growing economy. It is not going to be a economy. It will be an economy which is a job-creating economy.
Economic management team was import duty high. Now why and high we are? What's ready who are? Hey, you free. Ma me kai etiefo na hwefo se ye hwanim se yira se tekwe baba kai nsa na ye ne no adi nkomo kakra afa economy ho afa ehoma watro on tax na ye bisa no ensem ba ko mienu bi sopoli hilaire wasn't na please what is happening Komla Genya also he promised common toilet he couldn't build them. Yes. Serenity McCarthy, also all of a sudden they are full of wisdom. MPP for Yare. Kwame Banaman, empty man. Okay. Okay. Benjamin. Mahunu message, Bernard Ajay, also Mahu Osi we president. Usman Amin, they have started the lies. Famous Osi way your policies. Baumia party. Okay. Paul Amen Soji. I say NDC is the future for Ghanaians. NPP never again. Gabriel Yao Zlevu. I say please. Remember to advertise my choir, St. Gregory Choir, Tema Newtown. We are launching our first album on the 10th August 2025 at 1 p.m. Let's see support them because mutate. Okay, Gabriel Yao. Makan Odiano. Kwame Banama say, okay, I've said that one. Sorry. Mensa John, say good afternoon. Thank you. Mafia. I say yes. God bless Mrs. Mahama. Mrs. Mahama said me dear. Me Lordina Mahama me nyana sem kanda. Because Enoch Amofa. I say so this. Oh, who say this Bamia dia ne no ma ye no. Who dey say so Bamia or Dr. Bamia. So Dr. Bamia want to become president in Ghana here. Or which Ghana again? Enoch pa Ghana here. You won't be president. You won't top president. Bozie Abdul Kadir. And so the Nedi Enoba. Francis Osei Yao. Osei the dollar is down to the city thanks to JDM. Or no cramponga so rich ideas. So internet me say ankure hunu anedidi. Penny focus ano. An empty barrel makes the most noise. Gabriel Yao Zlebu fire. Opa a barrel. Yeah, crew my friend barrel. Na hwie ensu gum na kata so. Na mon peja na mon tonto fom ana mon ru emfa fom. So obeti de bia nyi de. Na fa empty barrel a ensu bi anim. Na ru e fom but de denko a ensu bi anim. Nti yesi ankule hunu ana edidi. Empty barrels make the most noise. One a wo sheda ye adwuma na nkasa no. Ba mo sheda nye eye enuonyam pesa. I mean, Philemon, Bible say, see you people. Miss Law. Send we intimate, sir. Patience for it. Oh, Debbie. I'm saying Crofonia, baby, or my mono dear. Ebehame pa. Now, next month, Agri Ministry said, ye lunch a conqueting kitty. And you know. A project as a Ghana from a bunu, moya crado. Some of them who beshim. Cause I could kitty project no. A new map be beba. Make ready. So only portrait da. You're ready so be only portrait farm. This is the time. And crofo ye. Man crofon from whom shame 5 years later. No man is capudro se mi yanka. Mira nakachi. Eti anytime on bell lantino, make sure say Namia Duma also wodo hu ebeshim. A very important pa. A idea me imagine say me ba me kaimo. Iti yenwianom mo ye interested in poetry. Sa time akon kitenkete na Crawford de sere. John Dramani Mahama. Ubenya akon kitenkete. Ubenya akon kitenkete. I'm piloting our northern region next month. I'm piloting our northern region next month. And you know, because I'm a spokesperson for the ministry. Biana information and memono and need the ababra. But for now, what I can tell you is say, I want to take policy no. Are you ready? Nearby the castle be biano. Oh yeah, and it's a good thing. Now. Diplomatic list na ba bontino. Kwam, but you better say. But Makai Tifon say you ran. Say take pen so ba.
Yes, on am kwan so ba. Me no ka say.
Yes,
Biana wabedu.
Yeah, wabedu.
Banana pomwe.
Because me nim baby akoya say wo panty wo homesa.
O say undercover investigation na ye no.
Okoya undercover.
See I say within a minute no. Say I need to do some undercover investigation.
It's just within 2 minutes wakoya undercover ba.
So nim say Nana Otuda
Kwame Kwachi.
Nana Otuda.
Ernest Kwame Kwachi.
Wojumo.
Oh yeah, guy.
Friday. Who say Friday undercover investigation na koye on. Omo dede Maslow Kano.
Yes.
But Shebo say Ochina
in fact
Jebe listi
Kwam
Kanama.
And then the refie.
Yes.
Document no man farmer. But now can also watch my bedding.
Yebel still individuals are.
Yes.
Omako.
Okay.
Maslock Aquajilum.
Aquajilum.
Yamo Moka.
Pesagana Boka.
Muntia. Eda Boa or Mine Ghana.
That's right.
Research agenda no as professional journalist.
More fire.
And no Dabwa.
More fire.
Ama wa odikibia.
Kwame, near Yame say. When you say ye ain't muno, you become say Maslock anya monetary allocation bia. It sika Maslock radi betria who can adding. It is here no, there's a Maslock here recoveries.
Yes.
Kwame, exit me bua Maslock.
Aye, ekabia.
Exit me bua. Na listen about Montino.
Listen abo. Aye. For iPhone breme. List about. Na
ambassadors na commissioners na consul general.
Now te.
Authentic one.
Oh, authentic.
It was more.
Omoko.
Back when me who were na many Japan.
Wine.
Oh, so one South Africa.
Benjamin Kwashi. South Africa.
Fantastic man.
But I think South Africa, he deserve it.
Yeah, he deserve it.
Because Obi Awatena South Africa.
A new
companies.
Benjamin Kwashi deserves it.
Every day, Biano. Free South Africa, Ghana said the free Kukumase.
Yeah.
Free Accra Kukumase.
Almost every week,
yes, almost every week, Biano. Oba. Ebe campaign. Then from there, now I cycle back.
And a campaign so yeah, Juma.
So Benjamin Kwashi for South Africa, the senior, I think say he really deserve it.
Okay.
And why you Juma?
It's it. Melacho, Monsoon joining in Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, the list no.
Yeah, the list
up to one here on CTV there. This year, that was this year.
Yes.
Anna Kwame.
So and why?
Me boss back Kojo Bonsu. Say ye to abano.
Yeah, me kai.
Anna ye call honorable Bevulati Fraying. Enti ikodin komo bi etri say on the be kwa me hu kojo.
Yes.
Anna na me yam hye no. I say na me ka je ne say ye be win elections we. Na ye win elections na on the first person am friend.
Yes.
And honorable Kojo Bonsu what say ye win elections no.
O friend.
Me say osana
na say ye host no CTV.
Ye host no osana na nya kan ye no kre Kojo Bonsu aye adwuma.
Nti Kojo Bonsu e ko China.
Nti so ko China.
Na Kojo Bonsu e ko China.
O ko China. Na ye dane ho ba ye bese abedi nkomo wo China
hono ma ana say na me no ka say onai ba ku si China dada because onai no ba ku si South Africa
ana ba ku si say Dragon
ana ba ku si China sina why ye why ye
o kama na ye hwam wo be ho bia pani bia ye so be ma miska no wajai
onai ba ku si South Africa dada because uni Benjamin Kwashi die
Kwame yani Benjamin Kwashi
die
en kase woni
some as professional general I don't take political appointments
me na me professional nyame njira yani Benjamin Kwashi die eti ono so ko
na why
afei me sweet out back
why
ono kra dem say me friend 1 week
why
kasum scenario
why
honorable bafu eyire no actress no veteran actress no kasum scenario
okay
Uncle Spain
really
yes Kasum scenario
do you movie no
yeah movie no
na say me who say oh yes I'm short we escape
so do me kwa benya programs here nyina Kasum scenario was there
I see it jama for kase na omuhu no NBC program
Kasum scenario there anyone
okay
Kasum scenario there me defending any time and Kasum scenario adwuma na now start you
yes I see
from 2012 krani hu Kasum scenario
okay
one Kasum
Kasum
scenario deserves it
and the social media
just to say there are some list to be o ha Kwame one say I'm my first list
but na clear say the amount for say and NDC program
scenario has been working
and
this elections or your
campaign national campaign ye hu no and ye hu so campaign enya do kre say na no tu na e ka
obi obeka say when hu Kasum scenario no and you no anka say when pianko campaign am a party no
okay I see
and men dwene say baby a o fire campaign ho no bi befa 16 regions
yes no
and I can attest to the fact say
yes
yeah hu kura domi kwa benya de almost all the times Kasum scenario was there
okay Madam, me more than me who know.
Yeah, lunch campaign.
Yes.
Over a say don't keep your crowd waters. Me na me MC.
Okay.
Time a lunch
I know.
Yes, Kasum scenario was there.
Okay.
Only sister crying by.
Okay, I see.
It's a Juma Kasum scenario. I know she deserves it.
Okay.
Okay. Going to meet the investors are back
from China, from Spain. From Spain, yeah, I see.
My man teach Accra in Spanish.
I see.
Yeah.
And I like say okra diplomatic okra or we or kimpa or diplomacy on can say.
One course school grant today. Mo dem paper. Omo course school this over ba me na dey kosi sen. Mo me yam adwene nya adwuma kojobo to so course school enso bo ankroma. See, let's so be with intelligence Kwame. Me pay school assembly, but I don't fancy school.
So Nana, she deserves it.
She deserves it.
Yeah, per what?
We need degree, no better me the investors. That is what we want.
Yeah, per the way who know.
She deserves it.
And Argentina, all the movie actors need a man and movie for no make Spain pound.
Say NDC creatives for NDC. Oh.
And I feel the movie Spain pound.
Me a professional journalist.
No, movie Spain.
Yeah, you know nebeko.
Movie ko Spain. Me ati movie. Me chairman yama journalist dibi we ambassador Robi. Am me so me to me na see yo.
Nti John next badge no how are
say aka see na only aka USA.
USA my
USA my.
UK my. South Korea my.
South Korea my.
Japan.
UK so my.
UK my. Germany aba
Germany aba.
Canada so aba.
But Togo abo.
Ose.
Togo aba.
Why no Togo?
Togo. Togo shim.
Okay, Togo ha.
Togo ha.
Honorable Captain Joe. Okay, Infojo.
Yeah. I do know him.
I don't know him personally, yes, but he has worked for the party.
Sure.
Those kind of kids, you know.
Yeah.
Into Captain
Togo,
Captain, you're okay. But come Dubai, no. Mahmoud Marabi. Okay, maybe I mentioned that. I'm sure
I think so, yeah.
President Nimintia.
Yes.
Now me
say namwali.
Oh,
say namwali.
So na CTV.
Yeah, na say namwali. Iti namwali. So your future ya, oti ya.
Ti ekwan, ono kwan.
Ono ko Brazil.
When you be ko Brazil kwa.
Yeah, oko Brazil.
Nti say namwali, you ko Brazil.
No, you be you see now what we have to do as quick as possible they say. Unze hustle there omudua ahwede so I think say we need to yemfa yin ko ho no
ekwam omu beaches here one of the finest ha enema mienu e for Brazil e beaches ne omayi
na senior and another
me see enema mienu
ne bema kangu from
me bema
kasa
enema mienu ne
ko nsuo bia
ni nsuo bia enema mienu ne for Brazil
omu beach
ne yi no
anyone eno mo den
beach no
do say men kan omu ma no
kwa
ena wo say maka
kwa me Brazil ma ho ye fe
yes
I mean Brazil ma ho ye fe
yes
Brazil ma ho ye fe
yes na wan biom mihu na wana eko India no
India what they say
India Professor Kwesi
Obridanso
yeah Obridanso
sir prof no can a committee no no can manifesto committee no
don't come
I think say prof not prof
no
but you see Kwam John Dramani Mahama wa unim de his excellency
so USA my
they say USA my and Kwam there were some names be oha now I was thinking say they will make it for the first list and Kwam I don't know what you say but me can't wait because the movie ha yam pesa buy ni be feel
yes
enti sabani refi bibia ye kan no but ye ka say kura say in the pipeline
yes me sure
name bit say Alhaji Sinari
mamenka obodin mamenka Alhaji Sinari
yes man sidin
Hana Alhaji Sinari betina
yes
proud to election
okay
and Alhaji Sinari ka say I have the tape
okay
no video no
okay
say all the Zongo communities in Ghana win election no
yes
on my certain percentage but
yeah.
I've make sure na ya boss at so obiti say Alhaji Sinari out here the future
yeah Alhaji Sinari but I want to believe say we say we are just shortlist keke
but you say we Saudi Arabia obi ko hono man
obi ko in Dubai
no Saudi Arabia obi wo hono
obi wo Saudi Arabia
obi wo
one
Rashid
Kwame Saudi Arabia ni here
oh Saudi Arabia oh
and I will create different list
United with
I need different
Arab.
Dubai.
Yeah.
Obi any Saudi Arabia.
Obi Saudi Arabia.
It is Saudi Arabia.
Egypt so Obi aso nko.
Egypt so Obi aso nko.
Yeah, inti between
Egypt
between Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Yes. Oh, yeah, no, we are doing professional.
So between Egypt and Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
A large scenario boom.
Boom, of course.
More fire.
Go pe. The intel are
picking as undercover journalists.
Yes. Say me new way because Obi a otimi ka say. Satan na yen to abano.
Yeah.
Let me see say meeting me take na.
Yeah, papa ba could be. You rent me fino. Man me usadi aba. O say onti Horace Ankrah din.
Horace. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Mama me true.
Obi to say you Horace Ankrah there.
But before I go Horace no, yen clear Alhaji scenario there no.
Yeah.
Say yeah, sure. Say the second batch of the list no.
Alhaji scenario will be part.
Yeah, but Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and because you bano Ghana ha. Obi a omo munim de. Aye edi ambassador.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia oka Alhaji scenario. Onim that terrain the ekoko kanimia na
onimu pa
utimi nyini film so nti hono de
David se mekopa o si yemfa bobi nko Burkina
awano no ayi delete do cast asem
ba
honto aba ye se onu honto be sha chena
ba Burkina so mu ye but you see anse ne honto be kono are you surprised say first list no former ambassador to China Horace ni Ankrah. Edini first list, no.
Oh,
and there were people who were I'm sorry. There were people who were tipping him for even China.
Yeah, because he's the
former ambassador.
To
China. Yes.
How to bring investors from China to Ghana.
There were a lot of investors who don't buy you.
Yes.
Horace Ankrah.
And I think if I stand to be corrected, he's the only we are called Oma China for DCD.
Yeah. He's the only ambassador.
Yeah, because I stand to be correct. I may be wrong, but you can correct me if I'm so.
Oh, you're wrong. I'm correct. You're correct. Come. The only ambassador Otimi initiative Ghana city relevant.
But now I'm hearing say you say almost all the billboards are JM chance ones.
Yeah.
Yes or no? I don't know if it's true.
Okay, so the point is that there were major billboards, political honorable there were major political billboards. Horace Ankrah didn't bottom second.
Oh, really?
True. In support of John Dramani Mahama, in support of the I was a bit shocked. But you see, John Dramani Mahama
yeah.
John Dramani Mahama knows what he's doing. Second list bar. Don't be surprised say names like Horace Ankrah BPM, Alhaji Senari,
Samu Hunto, No, Sami Obi why the masters in so we
no Obekwahin.
Sami
na Obi a yede ko say yenya
can't you no more agriculture pa mu say Sami ne ji kware ejuma yeah
American ka so mo farming
but
another person needing Victor Smith, Ambassador Victor Smith.
Yes. Yeah. But I know say Victor Smith the second band because last time Shan one team and yes,
fantastic man.
Yes, onim day.
Brazil forms we farming.
Yes,
Brazil.
I am fa deputy ambassador one. But I think they won't talk.
Nana Kufa them time some for deputy ambassadors.
I think they won't talk Brazil and your
ideally I'm fa about Nana.
But see now we can quit.
Yemfa huntonko is Italy France tomatoes do
yeah. See now and I am fa Italy.
Italy my.
Oh,
France my.
Hunto.
UK my. And I'm here for Kusiku na. Ambassador to Sisuku. Be set ideas now one.
Beni.
The Beni and Kedo ko travel for Beni.
No Beni den e
Beni.
Beni den bro.
I will Beni abba kasi yourself you okay.
Beni den bro. Beni for fancha me. But
Okojedru. Oh ba Jedru pa.
Beni.
Okoyed ho Beni.
Omo ko America no kwede.
Because also they yes omo we no omo efe pa.
Da bi omo ko America no.
Omo dey no mo efe.
Ntem won say
investors in Bagana.
Na Beni dey invest in you.
E dey na me kan una aka.
Bisa Ghana youth no a omo so ma ye
Beni no mko e ho.
Beni mko.
Business partners in fa no.
Eh, wonto.
We na free sese kuno.
Omo business partners.
You to no better wa you. So what chom say omo investors partners every Beni.
Bisa all the cancer hustlers
so let me ask a question. But omo am Facebook. Yeah, the America any Benin si ho be kwan ba chom famra.
Hunto so pe Beni.
Kwame yenye ne ene hunto enti owura Horace Ankra ene Alaji Scenario.
Yes.
Owura Victor Smith.
Yeah.
Anya ne nya Victor Smith.
Oh no, yeah,
Victor Smith.
Yeah.
And oh you were yeah running for the currency. Sampiali nka. Oh dem kra.
Benia. Ya ka eve ewo ho.
Oh, okay.
Togo.
Ka eve.
Eve ewo ho.
Yeah.
Promoting business.
Easier.
Easier.
Okay.
Ghana ye connected Togo, Benin to Volta region. As far as Ghana is concerned, promoting business easier.
Okay.
Can't say.
My main friend
Ghana for I war America does in Ghana.
Don't worry. My main friend Dr. Callistus.
Yes.
Me Benin.
But you say me no ka say Jubilee as it
my friend Dr. Callistus is
yes.
here.
Omutie. Na said we talk and Benin dey e fata no.
Oh, doc onfa.
Onfa. But omutie.
Enti ye be so Benin dey anyhow ye be prepare letter no.
Sina me
But let be on record. Honorable Horace Ankra. He wasn't a Ghana ambassador to China.
Oh, okay.
He was a deputy
ambassador.
Anyway, no, it was me the right name on you see.
Okay.
Deputy head of mission.
Okay.
Deputy head of mission. He wasn't a ambassador to China.
You engage in Hanum names of consent.
Okay, sure.
Okay, maybe as a later.
Yeah, later not be an ambassador to China.
No. So the deputy.
Yeah, because we have engaged him here several times with that designation.
Okay.
Because maybe kind Abraham 2016 to Munti FM. Sabrina me no story. Na ya address no as ambassador.
Okay.
A pajama no ankata free chire mu so onya ambassador
or
deputy.
If you are time no a deputy.
Yeah, so
okay. Sure. Tinana
very well.
So take by 5 minutes now we do. Tinana me ko but
me ko me yeti enu free ho na papa nya enough time because then will be a conversation no.
But
what will break leader?
No, Jacob break. But mami can we I think over the weekend presidency day man Lodina the official Facebook ne official social media na betuja me we say man for kasa bebre basabi.
Okay.
Na like mami 30 seconds to respond to them.
Okay.
Because
Ejumani fan the personal response.
Yes. Say mami a odimu.
Okay.
No fata.
Yes.
Na ya create social media the Facebook and the Instagram and
when they create here
what's one they create here
man
no say we the official Facebook remember or call ofia kwa no ne bia na oye o manager pade what you say the first lady na me ti say no mo kika cancer basa bi hospitals o sisi here ne adoye ne ma obo mo
okay
na manfo a ono ankasa ndi ni sika ebo mo
okay
na Facebook keke amanfo ka wasem
when they create Facebook no
me say presidency no
e create
Facebook na so say ne official Facebook account
when ka say
oh no they posted it enye so mo ka say they posted uko obi so da mo kike kani na so
ni ntia make say mo bia mfa ne nkeka wa ho me kama melody na mahama even those at the presidency ti kwame na make am ye even those at the presidency ma amenity ne baby no un say some time back afia ba so no na what positions orefi ba say ma melody na afi e me wa ma me on chair positions
onye hwe
ma me onye party chairman ma me council of elders won ka ho functional executive committee on ka ho national executive committee on count affairs so no teacher the point I'm making quite briefly is say any maybe I'm sorry but it's important. It must not take presidency to create Facebook for our mother. Let our mother create her own Facebook and I did and because you see the laws of our country the laws of our country any legal room for a first lady. The patriot say Ghana Mrano, any legal room for a first lady. And nothing a big crack some time back sank ye first ladies to ya. But Lordina Mahama Nankasano, what the nation and one will pay.
Oh no, in
your position to function. Whether Lordina is a first lady or a second lady.
When I see presidents in a creative Facebook, Hamalodina.
I don't understand
who is saying that.
Oh no. It's on way.
Because if it is so, yeah, they should not be.
That's right.
Yeah, never.
Mamo, be critical. Mama, na be any foundation.
Lordina Foundation. Lordina Foundation.
Oh, when I did that.
That's
what I'm saying. Mama, bravo.
Or on the page. Lordina Foundation on the page. Or more money, no money. Opa, just log on Lordina Foundation. I say Lordina. Go there, you see.
And I come on, say fake account.
And he said, no, be a create a Lordina Foundation. A year page.
Into creating
a new official page
from way.
Like say where official page where a new one. Me TM 2 pages. Me want to TVGH and I'm also that doesn't mean say state in a creative. Now
some impression on a best creative.
No creative. Yeah,
the state they creative.
Yeah, one creating Facebook page.
Oh here state.
Oh here state and also here place.
Now we cross state to the who Jima then Facebook will be able to be creating in Facebook.
Forget them. Easy. And some do one more. They be as who the MPP for each year. We are just about responding to MPP. You give them the opportunity or more pay because always MPP want to be in the news. They don't care whether for a good reason or bad reason. So long as a MPP no, they are okay about it. Because don't person me say they want to take Ghanaians' attention from the good things that happen under this government. They want to take away the attention. National Petroleum Authority boss, Honorable Edujita Makulu, just say the midst of Ukraine, Ukraine, Russia war, Israel, Iran war, and America kradom who ajimu ni nyina Ghana ye wo fuel reserve for 2 months. I mean kwatena makunya so.
For 2 months anka ordinarily.
Yeah.
Nkofu bi anka.
Bosumi mienu. Ye wo fango a ibetimi ayusu. Eno good news also Ghana for nyina yetie. But MPP doesn't want Ghanaians to know this. Ministry of Education and omo revise omo knows to make sure say National Food Buffer Stock take supply of food at the Ama secondary school said the better quality and quantity of food the mama of friend bit me improve. NPP doesn't want Ghanaians to hear this. So they want to be in the news. Nana, ask yourself. Mahama any NDC Lusu election 2016 MPP take over 2017. At a point Kurana NDC communicators and Kurana if you so in Accra free Ghana. We not even hear NDC communicators sitting on radio debating on whatever. The President Mahama himself, you never heard himself or can be criticizing the government. Sabrani asane President Mahama and the UN force and ha force and ha election observer no ko even ye chi kwakwa yin do hokra na Mahama e international assignment to Ethiopia and we try to better kwa yin do ho e will be ourselves. Mahama only started commenting on the economy after 2 years. Every NDC echo primaries, presidential primaries, and Mahama started commenting on it. In Chilema of the mind is so Sabambi Aba, we oppositioner, you give that Abano peace of mind to put things things in place. And then when Akufo-Addo was misbehaving, fooling left around, left and right, he never heard NDC. Within Akufo-Addo be president, within 1 year, 2 years, did he hear say NDC for a demonstration? No. But what do you see? Because the MPP wants to be in the media. Now you discuss Montino. Mahama Baba Mwani even 2 months, na MPP called demonstration. Not even 2 months, not to talk about 3 months. The first 100 days in Mahama Ndi, na MPP a demonstration. Mahama need 2 months, na Baumia shall say criticize the Mahama government. Mahama government, the appointment to Krawonye na MPP as a political party, criticize government decisions and governance at Air because MPP wants to be in the news. And they say, no, what Nasia smartly they may set the agenda for you. And to bones say we are saying 4 years a day anymore. We may waste our time discussing MPP. And the more we burn panidi, we burn. That's the big one of the biggest mistake NDC made in a brand of Bemo. The pro NDC media, including Munti FM, and on Babena, do one anytime BR is like we are discussing a Kufuado. A Kufuado yadi, a Kufuado abon, a Kufuado Papa Japadi, a Watonton, a Kufuado Casa one tier. We always discussing a Kufuado, discussing a Kufuado. And no fetchy a Kufuado sympathy. It got a point the Ghana for other papa, but never been Kwan, why ya, they be a Muboni Triso, and the for 2 minute cram man never don't submit to me. Any idea call 8 years, Ghana 4G and so. So we shouldn't be focused so much about the MPP. Who doesn't know Lodina Foundation in Ghana? Nana Matina account several times. Lodina Foundation will obtain a foundation and Sana Nikunu John Mahama Ebeye Vice President. What in the foundation be seen ne? The foundation or the Buenipa. Lodina Foundation Konko CB Bia Wakase in partnership with government or in partnership with any private company. Say you making money. No. Boho Lodina Mahama seen in Boho Skitwa Ghana. Say ban apprenticeship a ma ekusuya de e ban clinic polyclinic hospitals ahodo beds ahodo wache obi antimi nka ho asem e ban nsa no adwuma yenso amanfo asene amom kosuya sa no adwuma no obi antimi nka ho asem. In opposition, 8 years in opposition, Lodina Foundation was providing mechanized boreholes for communities free of charge. 8 years in opposition. Lodina Foundation AC a 10 key maternity ward. Miensa was the first one ni krum bole. You can't say 10 key hospital and as a ward wa. Just say the key ma ubie key na ubie dan say ya bibia you ready. Baby a painful ko one betna ombetma tinto map me wa bofed number 2 everything bed everything.
Enye edan
tontro wa say Kufuado call commission agenda 111 ye wi esa 2 mo so a commission Bank of Ghana and so na me no kase Bank of Ghana 24/7 adwuma fugu wa mo ye adwuma no enye no bio ye bibia wi o ye ni bibia wi enti da obi so commission na enkrofo da mpa so kra ye treaty wo mo. That's right. Was the first one oni kunukrom bole and obesi second one onu ankasa ni krom nkranza and wokosi third one ewa tebubu edia na obone atebubu. Okay. And Okosi ye. Thank you. In opposition. And we see Sanemona because Lodina Foundation operate outside the government.
Even in opposition.
In opposition. And when NDC co-opposition 8 years, Lodina Foundation didn't need NDC or the government to operate.
Yeah,
can we say same about Rebecca Foundation? Rebecca Foundation 2017 after say Kufuado win election. 2020 election wa ha na Kevin Taylor. What do you expose by ya? Sika ne wire from China. Edifa Lord Rebecca Foundation $600,000 $250,000. Now fear Kufuado no catch said the wife will not be in charge of contract no. Na Rebecca and a nam China or G loans at the Ghana buying. I want Ghana buying Jumani. They use that to to do fraudulent I can't say deals. Near Sendis Kakasi near the firm. Now I'm kind of be any Rebecca Foundation akwa see children's ward ewo Kolibu. Okwa National Health Insurance Scheme nya adwuma. Na now nim dientia.
David.
Partnership. And a private ownership. So it's not fully under Kolibu.
Okay.
And Tiwano, it's like Yami and Che, and I say what can pay. I know more dear. Nanko first lady didn't think I would drain, say you here for them or frown. But yes, and then a rare to make up a church, friends, Samira Baumia. Nani bra Samira Baumia near Bracing Baumia crop president.
First lady
because Samira Baumia as a second lady crano with me down office in to me ebu obi dan gui apartment adan a fie maku edumi enu obuni nyina gui because on first second lady 2024 elections Samira Baumia Mahama enam form your campaign
ne brand involved nana
ni nyina Samira Baumia etimi no to play mu what say
and there's no proven.
The energy is not proven.
Meaning say in relation with Abu Ramadan.
You don't know what it. Samira Baumia. Opa koko bisa nipa na ebu na japa de gu ya no beka trɛw. 2024 election Samira Baumia na ɔte asoja fo play mu ɛna ɔde kɔ campaign ɛwɔ takwa.
Aye.
Na Baumia nkasa kora na fom Mahama na fom. Na Samira Baumia ɔno no second lady. Bob no rank na ono no ti asoja fo play mu and de kwa campaign e watakwa.
In what capacity? As what?
Samira Baumia as a second lady or kwa the same stress o Kumasi akoteki ni measurement na or the private jet team presidential jet team na de no Kumasi
okwa den ya
okwa ni Taylor the same stress e kwa koteki ni measurement na or the private jet team presidential jet na de no ko okwa iye osire mu a presidential jet na de no ko Eka susuro no boy. Can you compare first ladies at NDC produce to a MPP?
Yes, it was rehabilitative maternity ward we Tamale North.
Ejumani the doors will not ejumani the you to me can a cut across on any particular region or district. Maybe be any pen yam will be on the NDC am I a first lady? Nana Kurado Adjumani Rollins.
Yes.
31st December movement. Ejuma modi ye. O ye ya Ghana for born na baso born o mami why ade nya mi nhira wo no. No fi se nhira ni nyina ache so bit my president. Ano afedi also be president edi na Ghana for se empower as a president. Ye empower as a first lady. Enti the why no aye. And then we retire from Ghana politics. And where is Nana Kurado? Missing in Ghana politics. NDC NMI and Estina Nadu Mills. Mami, want to know what's him?
That be open who say.
Nick be president for almost 4 years, 3.5 years. Pianti no what's him? Saka kabin sem, apokroko sem. Pianti bi.
Debi.
Mama MI Lodina. From 2012.
That what jump you?
Why?
I know about.
Mama my Lodina. Okay. From 2012, Ebesina Meno Kasei. MPP has tried so hard. So be true mother at Lodina. Enfa.
And tight.
Ejuma why ye diabwa Ghana my baneta pumudine mo obi antimi compare. Can you say same about the late Kufuor? Mami Teresa Nyankopon fa ne kransie. Wono so fa Teresa Kufuor.
Ono so no kan ho.
Yes, ono ne atama se yire no mu gina one scale.
Omo mpa bontimba.
Omo mpa mo asem. Tomdo mu fie nko a. Can you compare Rebecca Kufu to Lodina?
Rebecca
can you compare Rebecca Kufu to Lodina?
Comparison
6 months in opposition.
Yeah.
Do you hear anything from Rebecca Kufu?
Dabi. Retired.
And that Rebecca Kufu so ko break grounds or ko kate so no mercy sa Kolebu children's word na make am asem no. Sa dan na Legon student. Extra crata so placard so. Edi ko na che se aban MBA Lego Medical Center placard so Rebecca Kufu me eche ne ko shem sawo kan o me eche abrante ne ko shem
ogun animu ase
wan kata ye me Medical Center no ne amfa nko no aduana na wacha na gobe o ye mfa nsa yarefo na senka wo yo bata na wo dwi nipa ho ena wo so ba besi children's ward ni nyina eden apomden already aban asi apomden ni bi asi wono mu Ghana fo hia de agya yarehwe ya tum ye mieye na da na wo de soso kobo form no Ghana ni suani ehunu nyansa wo ehun as the Bible say what in sempa na hinta nyansa fo and we ya tram kokwa babru no mom tro kan wa say munkonko bia o me achi ne kokoshe mu ya di abante ne kokoshe mu for this and o say Ghana fo kasatia ansa ne yi ni na pie enti nana they shouldn't go there. They shouldn't go there. Just 6 months in opposition. Rebecca Foundation is nowhere to be found. A new market on the wall is dead. Aya Gigi Kodi.
Marita.
Aya Gigi Kodi Savings and Loans in Libya. Aya Gigi Kodi Foundation.
Foundation.
Rebecca Foundation. Gigi Cody Foundation.
Wow.
Anya sa ni kunu Akufo-Addo so per president edi no. It taking 40 years and so be president. Ne yere Rebecca wanti foundation da.
All of a sudden.
Akufo-Addo be a flag bearer man MPP 2008. From 2008 to 2016, 8 years. Rebecca Akufo wanti foundation bi ada.
Rebecca Mponenko yi ene say ba me ayiri.
Oti foundation when Akufo-Addo became president. And the Gigi Cody Foundation.
Oh, but better late than never.
Better late than what? Gigi Cody Foundation. Gigi Cody Foundation. And then now say MPP ko position kurama moko na wiaba na wiye. Nanso Lodina, what take crowns and Nukunu ba be vice president in fin watri. Nikunu be president in Nikunu be vice president in fin 9. Nikunu be president first term 4 years. Now Lodina Foundation yejuma. Nikunu ko position 8 years Lodina Foundation yejuma. And then Nikunu aba power edasu yejuma. Can you say something about Rebecca?
Lodina ni size.
And Tisanko for let's no waste our time.
Okay, yeah, waste your time.
On them.
Change gear no. Yes,
tea for near for an area. I don't waste I say.
Sorry. Not me buy na me home for.
Send me who he to do me.
Doka say. Na me muya me ya.
And I say about that is a mere papa. Democracy. Na democracy no ade ba ko a ewo mu pa ne say. Any idiot can aspire to be president. Any idiot. Especially Africa and Ghana. The here so be suit. The here so be timaka brofo. The here so be nyesika kakra o de be man central for asa becoming president in Africa is possible for any idiot. Not about track record. Before I because sans mo say honorable setekpe.
Honorable
Aba. But me can Ghana for.
But Same, you know honorable we be back to you into me.
Yes. Honorable Dineda, honorable Pacho Betranse.
Honorable sit down.
Economics.
You looking great. Bra, for one
and sana you be discuss about me ano. Me Ghana phone yeti phone na aya assignment. You be say ba nemum. Omonko back to the history. Now omo say MPP between 8 years in opposition between 2009 to 2016 8 years in opposition. Ejuma ben na ba omia na oye. Countries ben about me akọ so koye adwuma se oboa mo musikasem atumi ayeye. Ghana ni bia o yes search na wan hu obo Zimbabwe. 2 exchange rate. 2 inflation. 2 economic figures and about me jae and about me so ideas. Oni ora set up we have ideas now on apart from 1 shilling 2 shilling ideas to buy mobile phone.
Oh, na at least with me some toilets.
About iPhone and iPhone 16 about so almost 75,000. 75,000. Vice president on the president but me no also be president on the telecommunication be kona they shall open iPhone 16 75,000 more no na bosumi bia utua 1 cedi 2 cedi na fa calculator na divide 75,000 by 1 never how many years are they betua ne busanse telecommunication networks e wo Ghana even Ghana Telecom na kasa cry tia na ye dia na way company ben no no dey be free no atwen say tua de na ka we 75 years 20 years 100 years and the chance vice president Bawumia then no onye serious no ka Ghana 1 shilling 2 shilling 1 shilling 2 shilling me wa na me wa fo ne kwakrafo si kom de koto honom eye domestic debt waje what can I say can so obi ade ka untu aso de ade
kwa ideas
we dey ko ba na ba be say idea no oni ona bo setekwe.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, yena aye yenua broadcast journalist Sami Hunto ase ena yenua ase na we part 1 yene economics we are obesia ba part 2 ye ka economics atiase yewura setekwe no ofia na economy no onim te se ne nsachi nti se si a yen ya propound theory economics nti we sua economics be a economic student very well bet me so join in live on Accra100.5 FM on Facebook na ye no wedding komo na ye be potok Accra esan enchiche mu ewia na ya makwa me kwa chat na se what search ni nyine mu That's what we're going to do. Honorable Seth Tekpe is a former Minister of Finance. So much great exploits. When he became a minister, so many achievements. And I'm sure that he's not here to blow his own trumpet. But of course, we know the successes that he chalked as a former Minister of Finance. If for nothing at all, we remember where he left the exchange rate, 4 cedis to $1, or say 4 cedis, 20 pesos to $1. The so-called economic messiah, the so-called economic wizard, took over and galloped from 4 cedis to $1 to way beyond 17 Ghana cedis. So of course, if you do the extrapolation, the difference is that large. I'm talking about an astute politician who has so much grips on fiscal policy and monetary policy. He has so much understanding and experience in that area. Currently, he is a special advisor on economy to the first gentleman of the land, His Excellency, the President of Ghana. It will interest you to know that he's even coming up with a very insightful book, very inciting on that, on taxation. And I'm sure that as we discuss economy, we'll be veering into what may have, convince him to put up that book and the content thereof. But currently, we'll start off with some economy. Sir, you're welcome and good afternoon.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon or evening.
Yes.
To your listeners. It's been a while.
That's right.
Since I was here.
That's right. Like how many months ago?
I believe several months.
Several months.
Yeah. The last I remember was sometime last year.
You're one person that I have admired from afar.
Thank you very much.
Given the fact that you're more of an introvert, and yet your things are very extrovert. The things you do are bigger than the silence you keep. And so we want to say thank you for how far you brought the country and how you have served us. How do you see the state run currently?
I think that we really went into some difficult situation as a country going into the elections last year. And as I said, the whole bubble, best later we can talk about some of the indices or the numbers.
That's right.
Say. But the bubble best with the debt default, domestic debt, which is savings by Ghanaians themselves, in our domestic bond market, which we established, so that we can mobilize savings from those who want to put some money into long term, like pensioners and. Well, if you are 60 or 55, some retire at 55, some 60, but 65. Let's say that you have there for 10, 15 or 20 years to go. If you collect your lump sum, it's good to invest it somewhere. So that as and when you need, you earn interest. And the interest will cater for, food, will cater for little hospital attendance and things like that. But the principal amount will be there, and sometimes you add even the interest. For example, when you go to a bank and you say, I put my money in treasury bills, including interest. There's an expression which is used. It means that I don't have use of the interest now, so roll it over with interest. That's what I wanted to. So it means that the interest is added. So,
that's right.
So if you have sort of 110, 100, you earn interest 10, it becomes 110.
Yes.
The next time you come, if it's the interest, because it's 110, not 100, you earn more, maybe 12, you add it. So your interest itself increases, compounds. Yes. That was a situation that we established and left, behind, so that Ghanaians felt confident, to lend their money to government. Right. It started with 3 years under a former boss of Tedufo, then went out to 5 years by the time he was leaving office, and we did 7 years, and means that Ghanaians were having confidence in and trusting their money for a longer period with government, right? What does that mean? It means that if we are going to do a project like fixing gutters where we need cities, right? You don't, and it will take you, you borrow to do the project.
That's right.
And it will take you, let's say 5 years.
Yeah, most of them are pre-financed.
Yes. So, yes, but that's what we're turning around.
Yeah.
It means that you can now come to your own Ghanaians
That's right.
who are willing for 5-7 years and borrow from them.
Sure.
After all, you can buy cement,
Sure.
labor, and everything. See this, you don't have to use foreign exchange import. So that's what it means to rely on your own domestic market. And that's the one that we're developing. And within 5 years, that market in government bonds. When we say market, we mean the stock exchange is a market. Because you can buy your bonds, and then I can sell my bonds and you buy them. Next time you put it there, somebody, if you are in need, you sell it, somebody will buy it. So instead of the trade being government to the Ghanaian, it's now between Ghanaians and Ghanaians through their banks.
That's right.
And that's how you expand. But where I wanted to land is, so if I need to do a project and I can repay in 5 years, let's say I need a project costing 500.
Yes.
And because I don't have 500 immediately from GRE, but I have 100 every year from GRE, I can ask Ghanaians to raise the 500 for me, do the project, but now go to the capital market, get the 500.
Yeah.
You know, that way the city doesn't come under pressure.
Sure.
You know, because you are using cities.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this is a market that was destroyed. This is when we say haircut. This is what it means. It means those who are giving money to government, their own government, because they had confidence in the Mahama administration. You know, by the time the people was leaving, had lost that confidence to the extent because they couldn't pay. And then to add, as they say, so to injury, you know, they were being asked to sacrifice 30%.
That's right.
You know, before the government could get that out of the hole, and that's a haircut. You know, so it means that if I give government 200, you know, let's say I had 210, then it means that divided by 3, I have to lose about 70, because then even the remainder of the balance, 14, it takes a long while. And some of the payments, you know, which they promised, we now have inherited and we have to pay. So that's one example of what has changed. Okay. The other example, 2 examples quickly, we can come to others during question time, but it's the way we expanded Galamsey without destroying forests and everything, and yet still did not develop, you know, a market. Right? The best example is we cut some trees to plant cocoa, right? But we brought the farmers together. They sold because individually they can't sell outside. So we had cocoa board.
Yeah.
You see the analogy, cocoa board that would take since 1993, was able to borrow, that's a syndication, and then buy the crop from them, you know, sell, and then take a larger loan after they have sold, you know, to pay the loan so that they can provide, you know, the payments to farmers.
That's
you
right.
could see the same thing if we did it in an orderly way as we are doing now. Then the equivalent of your cocoa board is a gold board. You know, so where previously anybody could come from Turkey to buy anywhere to come and buy open market, you know, with smuggling because they won't even declare, so that they pay the right tax. Now we have an order. We have an orderly way of doing it. It's not perfect yet, but it's far better than what we had.
That's right.
And yet, why are people surprised that the reserves are going up?
So that's what we'll be coming to.
You see, so why should we be surprised that the reserves are going up? Because it's not every Ghanaian who wants to smuggle, but they are being forced to do that. You know, and the foreigners are coming, want to take the risk, so they are selling to them.
So what would have taken foreign remittance out is now left in Ghana?
It's left
all
in
the
Ghana.
Other remittances that
even if
left
it goes out, it's now going out in an orderly manner.
Okay.
Like cocoa goes out in an orderly manner through the produce buying, you know, agency and the rest. So it's that orderliness which is bringing in, you know, the money, and it's increasing the reserves, you know, that the balance in our foreign exchange account, right? And when you have, you know, more money in your account and you are able to you are not under stress to provide money for imports.
Okay.
Right? Because also maybe because we are in the rainy season and the rains have been good and the rest. Why should anybody be surprised that the reserves are going up and say it's fantasy? No, it's planning.
Very practical.
Very practical. It's planning.
Yeah, your initial commentary, I think, explains the kind of economic quagmire that the former Akufo-Addo administration, plunged that into. I think that the explanations that you gave kind of solidified that. Yes, that was domestic.
That was domestic. So what happened on the foreign side? We started borrowing the same way we were borrowing during the Hippie era with His Excellency Kufuor's first bond.
Okay.
But we were paying only interest.
That was the Eurobond.
The Eurobond.
Okay.
We were paying only interest. So by 2013, it's 2007 bond. So by 2013, you had 4 years
to
redeem the bond, because 2007 to 2017 is the 10 years, right? So we came to the realization that, wait a minute, if the NDC were to win the elections in 2017, right, it will have to cost 750 million. Yes. Because all you were paying was the interest.
The policy would have matured.
Exactly.
Anyways.
So we use oil revenue, through the sinking fund, to start, paying for that bond. Because it's only when you pay that, the repayments, you clear that balance, that your loan won't be going up. So we use about 336, but 350, million, of our own oil revenue to start paying the principal. The former administration NPP came and they used 200 million out of 250 we left to pay off, additional 200, making it about 550 of our own money.
Okay.
That was money we left.
Okay.
Right. And then because we had that bond, the domestic bonds and others, when we wanted to change the method we handle it, we went to the World Bank, got a guarantee, paid off our balances, and agreed with the World Bank that we would now pay the principal, where previously we were not paying principal.
Sure.
We'll be paying the principal in bits, like we do with some other loans. Okay. The long and short is that the markets began to soften for it. They began to have confidence. So we continue to borrow with understanding that we have a mechanism now, so that after the Kufuor's bond, we will start also paying down our bond, right? And we won. Right, and so the interest rate actually started to decline.
In the area of borrowing, I think is an interesting topic that you have raised, and as a theming, as a growing chap, I think that is one area that we must be critical about. Now, you left the total debt stock of our country, and I stand for correction because you're here yourself, at 120, even 122 billion before MPP took over in 2016. By the time they had left for this new government to be ushered in, our debt stock had ballooned to a whooping 721 billion. Don't you think that the time is ripe and the time is now that we need to have borrowing ceiling, to deter government from borrowing, which becomes, a kind of paying remnant for generations that do not know anything about such borrowing?
Yeah, you see, because the city was depreciating, when you use nominal, yes, it's big and all that. So people will say use the real numbers. The real numbers is the debt as a percentage of your output, which is your GDP. That we call GDP.
Yes.
Right. We left that as 57. If you use that approach, like what you say, the 120 represents about 57%. It's 56 point.
56.
Yes, yeah. 56. So 57. Let's say it's 57.
Okay.
What you are narrating that it ballooned, that 57 almost doubled, 98%. And if you add the contingency funds and the rest, yes, under some calculations, it crosses 100. Right? Now, this is two things. If you are borrowing, you are not paying your debt. The time will come when you have difficulty to pay.
You were servicing your debt at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Out of the lesson from the Kufuor bond.
Okay.
It's essentially Kufuor's bond.
Very well. You talked about the sinking fund.
Yes, exactly. So we set up the sinking fund, saying, hey, we cannot continue this way.
Sure.
Otherwise, we cannot, borrow to build the infrastructure. We started doing a lot of infrastructure, right? So we said, when you borrow, learn to pay. And it's in the Constitution. Only the Constitution didn't say shall, that you shall redeem your bond. But it says the government may set up a sinking fund. So since 1992, it was His Excellency John Mahama who set up the sinking fund.
So you're saying that the sinking fund setup has been sitting in Ghana's constitution.
The provision to
all
set
this
up.
while, the provision I'm talking
to
about.
Set up, yes. But it says
and none of the
government-
president that came, it took John Dramani Mahama to set up.
Yes, because remember, we had become a middle income country.
Okay.
And previously we were borrowing from low sources. Sometimes we don't pay interest, like the loan which we used to add to Kaiser, American loan to the World Bank loan for the Kosomo Dam.
That's right.
We had 10 years moratorium and 30 years to pay, making 40 years. Right? So it takes a lifetime to pay. That's a World Bank loan. When you become middle income, you don't have that again. You have some of that. But this time, the 40 years becomes 25. The moratorium of 10 years becomes 5. So when, with the service sector growing rapidly, after the heat peak, and with and other ERP, SAP, and other changes, when it started growing rapidly, what happened was that the services sector also started growing very fast. So it overtook agric, right? And then we discovered oil. And we said, wait a minute, we can't just be borrowing without paying. Let's use the oil to address problems which we were having difficulty.
Okay.
With gold and other revenue.
Okay.
So we decided that, we will set up the sinking fund.
Okay.
When you are borrowing cheap and you have 40 years to pay, and in that case you pay principal. So you were paying gradually principal. When we went to the to the stock exchange, that's the outside one, you had the option to pay on interest. But you were not putting money aside to pay the 750. That's where we started. Okay. Now you come to what you call one way of managing your debt.
Okay.
You remember I said we left it at 57.
Yes.
Even as we crept up at
that's the debt to GDP
ratio.
Okay.
Under the old basis, that's the new basis.
Sure.
We were getting close to 70%.
Very well.
Right. Then we started slipping from B plus to B minus. So that should give you an alert. It should give you an alert that if your debt begins to go up to 70,
you are not servicing it.
And you are not servicing it, your ratings will fall.
Certainly. Right.
And if you continue, it will fall further. So you see B plus, B minus, C, and then junk, CCC.
So then
that's what happened at the NPP.
So then that should lead me to this very question. What has your government been doing right that you think the previous administration didn't do? Because of course it looks as if you are wielding a positive economic outlook. There are a lot of people talking about you. If you could send us through.
Yeah, let me run through them.
Is it because Sir Tekwe is advisor to the president of economic matters? It may have contributed to that, fortune.
No, that's not the point. I don't want to take the credit away from anybody.
Very well.
Even if it is, after all, the initiatives, right? The initiatives that we had, which are proving good now, were stopped by another government.
That's right.
Right. So there is some credit for those who are now, bringing it back, and especially when the one bringing it back was also my deputy.
Yes.
Who was
on
yes. And the team.
You mentored him.
And the team around, yes, and he was in charge of the budget.
That's right.
You see, but to answer your question, remember that for you to come down for B plus to B minus, you cross 65. And you were heading towards 70. So we started repaying the Kufuor bond to bring us back to 65. That tells you that if you take your debt above 65, you are entering into dangerous territory. Because based on the capacity of your country, they've done analysis and know that you cannot pay. And that's why when we cross that number, people were saying, wait, go to the fund. The normal salvation, because this thing is getting bad. So if you want to do it on your own, then tell yourself that those who rate me don't like my debt to go above 65.
Because it's not sustainable.
Yes, and if I want to be in B plus, and then probably enter into even A, triple A minus or whatever, the lower level of A,
That's right.
like Botswana is now.
That's right.
Then it means that I must even keep my debt at about 60. Right. But remember when I'm bringing my debt, level down, right? That also is helping. So if I'm able to bring my debt level down to say 50 or 55, and I enter A, that tells you that the best place for you to operate,
Okay.
you right, is between 55 or 50 or 55, and then 60 or 65.
Is it
That is the ceiling and the floor.
Is it per African standard? Because then
No, that's
you could do better than 50.
Well, you could do better,
Yes.
But you are a developing country.
Okay, as a developing country.
Which
So
has become
we are
middle
tying
country.
the argument to the confines of
Yes, or you are also
developing
exactly.
countries.
But
Okay.
not just that, you are starting.
Very well.
And when you go down to 30, 35, you are squeezing yourself too much
As a country.
as a country, because you need to develop infrastructure. Why are you borrowing? You are borrowing, so the difference is the interest rate. So when you were at 65 and you were crossing, your interest rate went up, and one instance even and the rest went up to 12.
Okay. So I wanted you to
10.2.
give a take on whether or not you think it is ripe that we give a ceiling to how much could be borrowed by a government.
It's prudent. That's prudent management.
Is your government ready to consider that?
No, but we implemented it. As I said, that was a philosophy behind
okay.
setting up the sinking fund, right? Behind the sinking fund to bring the total debt back. I hear people saying, especially members in the past administration saying, but everybody, the debt includes old debt, includes NDC debt, includes, yes.
But that's legacy debt. Anyways.
Legacy debt, but you are responsible. Just as we are taking over their debts now.
Okay.
You see the point? So legacy. A legacy means that you are taking over from one government. So why did you stop? If the thing was good. You see, because after all, we had, the fortitude to of oil to begin to take off his SSA Kufuor's bond. So why do you come in and give it as an excuse that this debt is NDC,
Yes.
and therefore I'm not going to take it
But
off?
sir, the others...
And the consequence is that we defaulted. On
That's
that
right.
debt also, just like
we
a domestic
defaulted.
one.
We
So that
defaulted.
should tell us that there is something good about managing your debt. And not say it belongs to this person or that. Of course, if the debt was not taken well, if there was some, let's say more practice in managing the debt, and that's for audit. That's for, but it doesn't destroy the fact that in principle you must manage the debt.
Very well.
As
Very
a
well.
government.
So sir, we can boldly say as onlookers that so far so good in terms of your economic turnover. But there are others, I do not want to call them detractors or naysayers. Maybe they have genuine case. And they posit that very soon we will start servicing our debts in high quantity, and that may have adverse effects on the cedi appreciation currently. What do you say to that, with the much experiential knowledge you've acquired, if you could bring that bear?
Yeah, first of all, they forget that for as long as we continue managing the gold in a better way, it has become a sustainable source of flow to the reserves.
What if the prices of gold come down?
If it comes down,
Yes.
then another philosophy of the Mahama administration kicks in.
Which-
Another philosophy in
which
the
is-
Petroleum Revenue Management Act kicks in, which Ms. Mahama put in place, kicks in. And that one says that if your gold price is increasing, if your cocoa price is increasing, right, remember that one day it will fall
Okay.
because you are not in total control, like the war. And it applies to petrol prices,
Okay.
just as we are seeing now. So the principle there is the stabilization fund. Make the situation stable.
But that is depleted by the former administration.
But that's my point. So, and we saw the consequence. As a consequence of that, it's part of the risk. Because remember, the sinking fund is actually fed from the stabilization fund. So if you clean that for consumption, then you are naked. You are completely naked, right? But the principle I want to establish by drawing attention to this is that so gold prices are going up, gold prices are going up, right? They say put that part of that money aside for a rainy day, because that rainy day will come. Right?
Yes.
And so we started a stabilization fund. And we started a contingency fund. And let me give you a practical example.
Very well.
When we started a contingency fund in 2013, by 2015, we had the Kwame Nkrumah fire and whatever disaster, and we've been talking about the 10th anniversary of that.
Yes.
Right?
The second one.
The second one.
Yes.
The first monies that were taken
They
out.
call it the twin disaster.
The twin disaster.
Yeah.
The first monies that were taken out, right? You can Google and see, to help the victims, right, was from the contingency fund, because they had to go to Parliament to go and get it.
That's right.
So why did we stop? And if we had kept it, could we have helped the bomb disaster people?
Certainly.
Because after all, that was set up with one oil field, and we went on to have 3 oil fields. So what's the reason? You know, why? You don't want to make the sacrifice or what? You see my point? So we are saying that in terms of managing, right, the price that goes up and it goes down one day, as we are saying, now that it's going up, right, keep some in the reserves. You see? In other words, going up, keep some in the reserves, because one day, yes, as we are saying, the price could fall. Right? The price could fall. And if it's not falling and you think that you have enough, you can take part of it to do infrastructure or something. Yes. So again, it's management. And let me relate this to, I think sometimes our listeners understand better when you talk about families, right? Because government is like family. Your child will fall sick. Your child will go and play, will have catarrh. Your child will go and play football, he will have some scratches. Right? You think that if you don't put part of your salary aside to buy medicine and whatever in the night when they are warm and hot before you even go to the clinic to administer first aid, right? Do you think you are doing your family any good?
No.
By not saving, by just, consuming. So if families learn to keep some money for a rainy day, or if because I cannot buy my first set of furniture as a worker, and I go and do high purchase, or I take a loan, you think that if I don't pay, I can go to the same bank and ask for money to buy a TV?
No, you have to pay first.
Precisely. So it's the same practice that we have at home. That's what we're applying, to governments. Yeah.
Okay, so in case...
So in other words, to sum up, we are saying management of the economy is not just about presenting a budget and, but you must look at the weaknesses or the likely weaknesses which you have gone through in the past, which you are likely to go through, and even unforeseen ones, COVID, who foresaw it, and prepare for them. So it's a lack of preparation.
Yes.
That makes it so.
With the stabilization fund that
exactly the sinking fund, the stabilization fund, contingency.
Yes.
Those are what you call the budget buffers.
Okay.
Or the stabilizers.
Right,
and advanced countries.
So we'll be turning, or we'll be having a new direction. We want to do a bit on the book that you have written, but so that I do not forget, I want you to have a bite on the one Ghana city that you wanted to introduce and the impact it would have made on the economy. Now, MPP, for instance, say that you spoke with all vehemence, against the introduction of the electronic levy, which was, providing in excess of, say, 2.5 billion cedis. And yet, you have introduced, of course, you said you want to introduce later, but currently, you wanted to introduce what would have accrued about 5.7 billion annually. They say that you are insensitive. And why did you withdraw that? Because then we thought you were in the process of convincing Ghanaians on that, especially when we are saddled with so much energy debts.
Because crude prices started to rise.
Because of the war?
Yes, of course, obviously. Because within a few days, the tension was mounting. It just came around that time. So by the time, remember, it was deferred. So by the time it was going to be introduced, it was going to be, burdensome. And so and then also, remember, there was another reason. That's the current reason. But the other reason was all marketing companies were asking for time to calibrate, right? You know, and apparently because this should have been part of the structure for the past years and we haven't done it, it will take time to really calibrate so many pumps because it's paid at the pump. So that was the primary reason. But another reason now is that crude oil prices, you know, have gone up. So that was a sufficiently good reason, right? But you see, I think the preaching is is getting interesting. You know, because this we are getting an education from, you know, the party that, you know, said ESLA was a nuisance tax, right? And for 8 years collected the money and did not pay the IPPs, right? And
That's true.
And that debt,
Yes,
is because that debt still exists.
That's true.
If that debt had gone, we would have had space, and nobody will complain about the levy, because that's the steepest levy that we did.
that was even collateral.
But we're still exactly. That's what the point I was going to make.
Yeah.
So that was collateralized. So it means that collateralization means that you collect the money up front. Like I said, we collected some money up front and we use it to refinance, you know, the 200 million balance that was left on the before bond. This was completely misapplied, right? So the revenue flows was misapplied.
Yeah.
The money from the loan was also misapplied, in addition to COVID loan and all of that, right? And you're saying that, you know, he
Sure.
immediately, no, e-levy. The e-levy, you see, what we are forgetting is that we had a VAT on fees and charges for financial services, because VAT is on consumption. It's not on savings. It's not on investment.
Okay.
And it was taken off. That's a true electronic tax, because the VAT is on consumption. It's on everybody's consumption.
Everybody pays.
Everybody pays. Income tax. Everybody pays. Unless the law says
Okay.
that textbooks should not attract VAT. Unless the law says the food we bought in the market.
Those are very few exemptions. So
Basic, and they take a significant amount of low-income people.
Sure.
So you are providing a buffer, you know, for them. Same with income tax. It starts with zero, a certain amount. Then those who earn slightly higher, you know, very low is exempt. Slightly higher, you pay 5%. A bit higher, you pay 10%. Until it gets to 33, 35, which will reduce to 25. Right? For those who are earning real big money.
Great.
So these are some of the principles that we are talking about. So if you remove that, right, the tax on the consumption, which is the tax on fees, and you impose a tax on investments, on savings. After I have collected my money and I'm transferring it to my mother in the village or whatever, and you are imposing a tax, not just on the fee, but on the fact that I'm transferring, that is punishing investment and savings. Why? Because remember, that savings that you put in your wallet, right, from your salary, that salary has already attracted income tax, and you paid income tax. So I think we should just get down, and that's probably is a segue into the book, because the book is saying what is it that is good and what is it that is bad about the VAT since its introduction.
So Andy Moles has summarized our first conversation. So our conversation is in 2 chapters. The first chapter is on economy. Now we're going to veer into the content of the book proper. And Andy Moles says all he's saying is that don't eat all your income. Save some for future shocks.
Absolutely.
I think that has been summarized.
Yes.
And in case you're just joining us, Honorable Setepe, former Minister Finance, says to your man penny for a year economy home. And you're running the train come. It is economy here. Know who is advising the president, and of course, don't forget that he mentored the current finance minister, Sabreno. Now you were to force in A and deputy. So he's a whole economic colossus.
But he became
in the field.
Chairman of the finance committee and leader of the house. So he gained more experience.
Yes. He's very experienced. All right, sir. There are a plethora of topics abound. Why taxes? Could have written on roads, could have written on money, could have written on fiscal policy, monetary policy. You could have even written on Bank of God. Why taxes?
Tax is part of fiscal policy. So that's what the short answer.
Wherever you can't get honorable Setekwe. Certainly true.
No, I started my career in tax.
Okay.
To be frank, I started my career in tax. I joined the then, after national service, I joined the then National Revenue Secretariat, which was under the Honorable Atu Ahoy, who was the one, the minister who was charged with improving our tax. It was under his tutorship at the National Revenue Secretariat that the Internal Revenue Service was created to replace the Income Tax Department, and then the SEPS was created to replace the Customs Department. It was still slightly, he had moved on to energy, right? And remember, one Professor Mills became the commissioner for the Internal Revenue Service, and you know, and then remember, the next thing that happened was there were other reforms, you know, that were implemented on the financial side and the others, but on the tax side, the big one was the VAT that failed, right?
So it was resisted.
It was resisted. Yes. Sure. The young ones may not remember, but some older ones would know that at a young age I was the national coordinator for the VAT. So I would say that.
Oh,
yes. So
really?
When it was, yes.
Wow.
Together with Mr. Blankson.
So you worked with Professor Mills before?
I worked with Mr. Ahoy, I worked with Mr. Professor Mills.
Yes.
And Professor Mills became the running mate, you know.
Wow.
And he became the vice president, and Dr. Pepra became the minister at the time the VAT was, you know, reintroduced, right? By then I had gone to Kennedy School in Harvard to go and learn, do some masters. And I cross-registered, as you said, from the Kennedy School to the law school because I knew we were already doing VAT. So I got more steep, you know, professionally. I also qualified as an accountant where tax is so that explains my interest in tax.
Very well.
And I teach tax now.
Very well. Okay.
You know.
Come.
But I won't take too much.
No, of course. But meaning say mobile to me a chat book next year. Inti anke ye kasa na mo de ato Facebook amame. If you can take just a phone. So I want people to relate, you know, to what the conversation we're having. And Timbacho mon try na ayi Betwa book nechi mame. Eda ho. Na mo fanto so. Okay. So sir, now let's move to some positive highlight. I wish I had one of your book earlier, at least, to glance through, so that I'll be able to know pockets of areas to touch. However, generally, I want you to give us some positive highlights, maybe some of the chapters.
By the way, it's my second book on VAT.
That's your second book?
Yeah, this is the second one.
What's the title of the first book?
This one is VAT Handbook. It's published by, you know, Thomson Reuters. So this
book is big. Wow. So this is your second book on VAT?
Yeah, I wrote this when I was working at the IMF and doing a lot of VAT missions and the rest. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but I didn't publish it when I was at the because I then came back to Ghana. So,
okay, you've been with the IMF?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So what is the...
This book is saying that...
Okay.
One.
That's the new book?
That's the new book.
Sure.
It's giving a little bit of flavor as to how or why we had to introduce a VAT. And then it's saying that there were some resistance and the rest which resulted in compromising, you know, some of the things that we wanted to do. Right. Such as the difficulty in increasing the rate from 10% after Kumi Preku to 12.5%. Which is the history of Get Fund.
Okay, it gave birth to Get Fund.
Yes, so the 2.5% was increased.
Okay,
but in the wisdom of Ghanaians, it was dedicated to education because we value our education,
which has largely helped.
Yes, and then coming to those who oppose the VAT, under His Excellency President Kufuor, we needed to increase it again by 2.5%, from 12.5 to 15.5, from 10 to 12.5, Get Fund, 15 to, so he also dared the opposition more or less. I'm only speaking literally.
Sure.
And dedicated it to health. That's the national health insurance. So these are the history, which places at 15%.
Okay, so
right, and so what has gone wrong is that these 5%, to give you one example of what went wrong, this 5%, 2.5, was treated as VAT, because VAT is not a tax on business. You see, if somebody wants, let me use it in the studio.
Very well.
Right, when I'm in the studio, I use it. If somebody comes and wants to place advert, you write on Accra FM.
Okay.
You pay a fee. They pay a fee.
Certain.
They pay a charge.
Certain.
You are required to collect VAT. Right.
And
so you add 10
NHIL.
points. Yes. So you add another child and all that. Yes. But you are not a consumer. The tax is on the consumer. So when you collect that money, you deduct the VAT that you paid on your inputs and the rest, right, from the VAT that you charge and pay only the difference.
Yes.
Right. Similarly, the person who collected, from whom you collected, in all probability, adverts are done by businesses. So they will put the VAT aside, right? And then when they also sell their products, right, then they make a profit. And they add, let's say, the 10, including VAT of 10, 100 including VAT of 10, and they sell 120, 20 profit, another additional cost. They will charge 12. But in that 120, 100 has been collected. So what they pay is 2. They deduct the 10 from the 12, and they pay 2.
They pay 2.
Right. So that's a check. Because when the tax auditor goes and he says, I'm deducting the 10 because I paid it, to Accra FM, the tax auditor can come and check. This is the strength of VAT.
Wow.
Whether really what they paid was 10, to you. And that's because you have a tax number, or you have a national ID number, or a business number. So they are able to track, which is on the invoices. Okay. So this is the strength of VAT.
Okay.
So when you come, I'm giving one example of what really went wrong with it, which is why we are writing this book to correct it. Yes.
Okay. So this,
when you come and you say, let's stop treating the health insurance and the get fund as VAT, and let's call it street levy. You see, it's no longer VAT; it becomes a levy. And in taxation, all levies add to cost. Right. So you can therefore deduct, strictly speaking, under the VAT, you can now deduct only 10%. The remaining 2.5 plus 2.5% ceases to be VAT, and is adding to cost because it's not VAT.
That's right.
And therefore, by the time the commodity is sold to the consumer, it would have multiplied through the system. We say it's cascading.
Yes.
So we are saying
you feel the cascading effect.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And that means that, what that means is that it will increase prices, cause inflation, be damaging to the economy. And you may not even be able to collect the high tax because you are encouraging evasion and avoidance of the tax. People just find ways and means. So the next time the person comes, then you ask, hey, Charlie, do you want a VAT invoice or not? Yeah, I'm not going to do anything with a VAT invoice. So
you do the negotiations.
Exactly, negotiations, and then you don't collect the NHI, you don't do all that kind of.
And government is short.
And government is short. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So this is just one example of what's in the book. Okay. I'm not going to be teaching.
So I think that my producer would do a proper arrangement, because I love where the conversation is going, and I would have loved we delve better into the chapters of the book. But time is not a friend.
Yes.
So maybe the last question is,
so
when
are
you going to launch?
Wednesday.
Yes, exactly.
Wednesday.
The date, venue.
In 2 days, Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. at
this very Wednesday
at the Academy of Arts and Sciences.
Okay, so it's put on our Facebook. It's also on TV, CTV.
Yes.
Okay, so Value Added Tax in Africa, the Ghana Experience, Wednesday. But you launch a book on Wednesday. Day, June. 25th June. I think at Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. 4 p.m. British time. not Ghanaian time, unless we change our time. But your 4 pepe na ya shares here. It's in Bacho on same way chat we do make a tree mo. A tree program by Ayabrofo. It's one same one. And I can walk room. You can do it. You can.
No.
Okay,
I'll speak in English. I understand that.
Now what can tree that? What's a tree? What's a tree?
Empty tree.
And then the first
I understand tree, but
and then the first that say pepper tree. But my mention your last words.
I got that sound that you're saying tree.
Yes. Your last words now. I'm sorry, so.
No, my last word is I think that the economy has a potential. We started some initiatives, and that's because we became a middle income country.
I'm sorry for cutting you. Just for laughs. Serenity. Makati, I say, Bamia, please go and buy one of the book.
So yes,
please conclude for us.
Yeah, so quick one. So I urge, businesses, my students and others I teach, to follow, and patronize the book, because it goes into both the history, the principles, and what is good and what is bad, and mind you, the VAT is going to undergo another major review after the 2013 review, and so I entreat people to come. And of course we'll take comments, we'll do some discussions and things. Later we'll do a professional session, including the media. It's where the business, your friends who do the business programs and the rest. Because that is very important for business.
Thank you. This is what I want us to draw curtains on your discussion. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. We are super grateful. And we hope to visit you at your office and engage you better, so we can have, more insight to the book that you've written.
Yeah, I can always come to the studio. I used to come to the studio.
But so far, I want you to know that Ghana is super proud of you. Thank you for the job you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Enti, kwame kwache ba be church ni nyina mu. Brofo na papa yi kan nyina. Hey! Senior. Yeshi ache. Okay, nti yemi Samuel Hunto ofia Hunto nchirichi dim. Ati, ma Hunto nchirichi dim. Wo be chirichi dim. Den no kan papa ne se den. Hunto yi usu. Bro, you yi.
Usu. Obe chirichi.
Oza.
Ada fa medwan.
Haruna Swaba. Senior.
Nana.
Ntade ne mushijan yo. Is only Hunto the pressure na mama you feel. Already.
Senior.
Eno chira wada room.
Me we are me
na eno chira de me nka.
Me pese ye we are na
senior. Keche clothing.
Na
Keche clothing.
Odimbe ko ho.
Keche clothing.
Measurement.
Yeah. Good house. Who's there after good house? There's a children's library be. Right after the library.
I'm saying that.
Towards
take me
airport residential. From Kawukiri Junction.
Okay.
So they call airport residential. Ultra good house. Once after good house, a children's library in the boy. After the children's library, the next
Zenith.
Yeah, you see Keche clothing. Somebody says you want them.
Sabe.
So
So
we are feeding Ghana, and we cannot build Ghana alone by feeding Ghana. We need to wear Ghana.
That's true.
I
like that.
Yeah. So I'm on America for them share that course in it.
I like that.
Me wacho ansa na mo beto aso no mpa mo cho ma ya acknowledge empanyifu Go TV. Also ya sene team misro ya kan for Go TV amo bibia very exciting programs. And one but that is *759# na enu ni inkita hon 2074 mixture and only the ko typhoid fever, kidney infection, hepatitis B. So yemi yo ya nam ya de chest pain chese meka den na ma jaden chronic cough wabo wacha wodru eni. Give us P capsules ebua emema ewompam. Give us cool capsules and so eyi sisi ye free onum akuku kukra fi wa yematim wodru ni. Give us herbal mixture there. Malaria, typhoid, jaundice ni se wunti minidi omedru umhia no omdwane kra and if give us just mixture and capsules also sabi yema ene yemema bi high wasi hono obi wokro dwun se ne ya obi won so mu se ne nsa bi ahase enyin wasi ompacho unyedru bi abeboa 0543 222 470. You go can for MTN amount same card no 10 Ghana cedis per. Nti me slow. Kisho say obetimi akope bi. And now we use MTN. Do so pa. Nimbus herba mixture say me kan cho say number 1 immune booster boa anipa kwa ni gina abrane. Ya de bia komande betimi akono krakra. Ba cho ukọ herbal shops ahodo ne pharmacy ahodo a obetimi enye bi. Chronic diseases bia ebetimi efrio 0246208496. This BioBlast disinfectant and BioBlast heavy duty cleaner. And I see the cleaning your kitchen, your washroom, your dew, your sasso, your PM. Baby bia is say a kum bacteria, virus, fungi, or enchimodu kunkum, actually ponku. Which every kum fala a simple but a powerful. About chow for a year BD group from the year dreable your so neku pay the support to 0246596689. Bills microcredit say among my besia na we yantu susu dabi yente say omo aka won ba ju susu na dwane ne ohia ne Ghana ka ye nhwe mu na che say obetime adua ye discount memo ye na ne fair quick credit oh ya boa wodwa for bebre. Yes, your signature all the market this time
me pay 1 million Ghana.
Oh on memo do but we say usually no on be hwe ade a opeso ye until we say as a big man now all businesses no bills on one be pay bills amount. It's Mr. 0596920833 0596920833 Flora case dear yenyomo ebeden enche na me third born aba Flora no na me use because baby diaper na guy wehu babofra no a onsu how we say ma me wa bre anadwomu ni nyina na abofra no susu bacho kopɛ diaper will be bono na e be fan pampers gentle on the skin. Delta paper mail say we from 0243 033 033. Yanko ene bedafo eni nkomo ye pon ye besan edi wo ho adanse acho same
ana na men sanche obi na men chia eye me bra panyin alaji
Aruna Muhammad
so agent political suit say and for address chomo political appointment
it will or dress to
and for address chomo political appointment
me list well na really political suit say kuruma ba ye dia
can
but your political suit kuruma dey me remember you general
sa
I said
basa
and can maybe a political suit e share na me say address dey chomo political appointment
you but
list I say one me come na ensan cheti for ne afefo biom na say na no a Iran any Israel kun shase no Ghana for pio momunim de wo titru ni adwama hodo se ba na fango nsem project say fango bo be kosro tinado no anticipate say ka last window na fuel price window price no the buy no na be kosro but because exchange rate no e wo from intin amiete so we see anya ntie say yes ekwan bi eda Iran a chese ho na fango dodo na e de world market beto ho na de fa ne se kwa tempo no esansa America for so mo sa ko kai Iran for so mo be block e kwan no an so mo block dia na say fango krebima peni say obi beboa obi be ye wi anti say wan kasa wabrewa ena so obi beboa mo wasusu a anti say wa wusu yakopa adom yensu etu fango ni bi President Rollins Efri Abemu na to eye adwuma President Akufo baaye no inherit Ghana economy na to eye adwuma 8 years of Akufo governance left to collapse anokra na nchen esa boy kanya menko an ka Ghana Commercial Bank kragui so ka 1.5 billion to debt some kind Ghana Commercial Bank and National Investment Bank NIB that's NIB almost so far papa because of tour and the doing something at a point now say shut it down aye temavaku yes vaku no twin kania pa sabre kofo dum so tie shut it down vaku
2005
yes Yes, I buy so tall, no so train can pa. Need to collapse it all. Must buy I know Becky sure say, or yeah, I need to meet you at tall debt recovery. No, I'm going for tall debt recovery. The buy. Ye clear Sakano. E do Mahama so. Mahama make sure say tall. Ye Juma. Enti 2016 before Mahama be fra bemono. Na tall. Ye Juma. Kwame Wadako. Or not any penny kwanche for no her bust. Or not another toss one no. Anato ashasi a refining fool a Ghana. Kubibaka say, Kofoni MPP a visionary. Come discover oil o mu se be to oil wa Ghana no. Sabre no na was en come verse no. There you be on revive it. But that wasn't their cancer vision. Because MPP's ideology said government has no business in doing business. Almost in your band said so be a dear be a disicabeba. A dear disicabebro money be a de was say crankra. So what MPP did under Akufo-Addo, when Akufo-Addo also inherited a year functional toa na ye juma from Mahama no. Akufo-Addo buy on to collapse it all. Jeno ye do ye ni say to afi almost storage facilities no. And omo ma MPP financiers and to mo ko top finish oil product no at the bar. Omuni baby de gu ntino mo e de akọ no me de akọ kogu sa storage facilities na e wo ho no because so mo ma to ye adwuma sika no be ba Ghana ho fo ho ordinary Ghanaian ho beto no esa anse e be refine fu no fa wa ne bo be kofom be ba sa MPP financiers may no get money and still yensa en collapse to na fe yen rent to ni facilities ni mfa MPP financiers. That's what Akufo-Addo did for 8 good years. Wama to anya adwuma ekowi ase enye NDC ene buy a enkene MPP kwaton to because it was part of MPP Akufo-Addo's government plan to privatize to somewhere 2022 ena na pombe ka kire yen say 2023 private ownership take over so kan komo ton to se nye NDC aban ne buy a enkene Commander Sugar Factory kia ton Sagleme, Kiaton. Mention them. Ye ton bibia. Say ye na to ye juma. Ene nyanko pandaruma. Talo susu asase ese tu fango. Any other kaze companies o mutu fango o munyina Akufo-Addo kankan pro ni dream. Te say Cosmos ni jo munyina free Ghana. Ene Mahama ba ndisi ba masaba. Tomu said be too fango. Say to e adwuma ka what it means ni say. Enka sa Israel any Iran war we e be affect e kura Ghana ni yehu because ye fuel consumption nke yentimi kura no ye betimi a refine and a produce almost 50% our ha. Enti other countries omuni bi su anka Ghana nke yensu. But because of amamu boni abande dada ne betwa mu ni sabonum twa enti no minu ka say to eguso oye adwuma nyame ya adomu a ose somewhere October ana be sha say refinery asa refine fuel ti yemfa ne say e free sabre June ekosi October say Iran any Israel wo yi akoso na niama get worse a Ghana ye be sofa ye petrol bu no be sa akosoro kosi say e bia to be sha say na adwuma ansana etumi abafom Intine kase amamuo eya adwen eni ani swade hunu. Every good leader bia we do man say a visionary. Kwame Nkrumah a visionary. Kwame Nkrumah esi akosombo dam. Sabre na Kwame Nkrumah yi temamoto we. Sabre no anafi na Kwame Nkrumah esi to. Because Kwame Nkrumah ni si to no a kasa kese kofa oil temahabo eho ena niama ni nyina befa ba no si temamoto we.
Silos na
silos si enuane. Yes, no si temamoto because on him say heavy trucks ena befa motor we no so. Na heavy trucks no normal quota road no ebetutu ntem entina oye concrete road. Visionless MPP omo nananom road to IMF and World Bank say Kwame Nkrumah say cement. Ye cement ye si na de ye odi ye kwan. The road to World Bank.
O kan odi ye kwan kra say na de ye from.
They wrote to World Bank. Kwame Nkrumah AC Akosombo Dam. Ghana population then was about 5 million or so. MPP Munana for said Ghana population kakrawe uko sik dam kakrakawe the other day. A waste of money. They wrote to IMF and World Bank. Some more musika. But after 60 years, 65 years, Akosombo Dam still remains the number 1 reliable source of energy generation I will have in this country.
I do.
Temamoto Way still remains number 1 highway in Ghana. Tema Harbour still remains the biggest harbour in Ghana. Tema Oil Refinery still remains the biggest refinery in Ghana. Nkrumah Yeninina. But because Vision MPP Nintino.
No, he's making a very serious point.
Yes, Vision MPP Nintino.
Vacuum, so sorry.
Baby Vaku Kwame Nkrumah, all of them, running everything down. Yeah. When MPP came, what did they do? After collapsing deliberately, collapsing a year tall, said about mobile turning to storage facility for their businesses. No, and on one side, she said, "BA another refinery." Said, "Friend, sent you oil refinery." Say, China for there. No, a kufa na busi for there.
Sent you no.
Yes, a kufa na busi for there. Almost say kwa pay tax exemption.
Are you sure say kufa na dia sent you?
But my make us a bitro.
No, I mean, maybe.
You are there. I'm going to bitro. Every when a Akufo-Addo buy 2017 in the year, even the existing companies and for investors are no more invest. On my catch or say, Aba, you investment now. Why give us 25% stake, and I be good business. One now buying, or my adwuma buying, buying do omoka contractors. Yeah, they charge you from $250,000, $500,000 to $1 million US. Pay before they pay you. Omo ya fake crowd man very biom. Omo they buy eko catch contractors say contractors are buying omo ka say wo kano ya ton wo kano the ama Fidelity Bank, and to go to Fidelity Bank oko Fidelity Bank and I catch ye taking some percentage. And son of the Sikarama. It happened here.
No, it's true.
And to all these, yes, and to all these companies you see,
it's a serious contractor.
Chinese company, all of them belongs to Akufo-Addo and his family. Now China funded they're just frontiers or more frontier and they are more okay. Who says have frontiers? Frontiers in the battle terminal train. No, the DJ call the schedule. No, Akufo-Addo na busi achebini. Sebi achimi ni Akufo-Addo ni tina. Who say we Jimmy? Na kofa alata ni se brabaji ska million we na fa ne kokodi. Frontiers no enye can say na na asati be die to da na yire nya no ofa ento mo na yusu Nigeria for no ento tiedi no frontiers die or frontier frontiers or frontier to mo do frontier Nigeria so mo di Jesus kan ko di ye. That's what they are. And always we will make progress as a country. Kwame Nkrumah ba be ye UP tradition e ba be seno. Rollins ba be ye Kufuor tradition ba be seno. Atamas Mahama be build it. Akufo-Addo be ba be seno. Now Mahama and NDC is building again. MPP once again is building themselves to take over in the near future so that they can destroy it. And think na tokwa kesi ye kwaso no ka Ghana nke esu ebrenie say oko Nigeria Dangote afi na obenya sika because Dangote refinery na wesi no na no ko Nigeria wa to over tens of thousands tanker trucks because won say war na aba no a biggest opportunity for Dangote and to acquire trucks are fed or they be distribute downstream ediako because say Iran fonya to kwan say green business aba opportunity be na Ghana here take oil so tunu wa here na de bia me ka kire Ghana for say about to so so ba o mi ase den o vision or ideas awofo de omo baba omo doba omo princess amount awade se kowalen fa ba ye de na chew ene ne wona tie badin enfie nwotwe omo baya sebio obare ne bra kra mpa ho da omo abefa no e de na akobosumi nsia achi wa begina omo puna chi bom se afedie wa ko wi sebio eye 20 ni
nti
esro wi sane fom wi sa nti afi na ba ma na gina so pa nti e ma kwan na wo be bonne nta ye ma no kwan we de bonne ba ko pe entafo afi do ideas because Akufo-Addo the same thing 40 years Akufo-Addo katre Ghana for so wonim nyansa si wo bia when the Ghanaians made mistake coming the opportunity ma Akufo-Addo any be away baomi ideas na o kan ne de hin baomi na kasa bia na num to katre en say ebra dollar kosro petrol kosro bibia tete pansam ye no eno koda na ni tikesie so no da ye eno hu adwen say no. The panacea to Ghana's economic problem is good for oil policy. Ti baumia uche baumia so ono ankasa. Ene da adwene ye na idea ni brain chart. Eno ko for good for oil policy de buy. Good for oil policy baumia ka che se be nema miensa. 1. Good for oil policy no. Ebe boa ma ye sidi no a na ni monyama to fom no. Ebe ko fom, ebe gina. Because I feel the $60 and the aquaman on your petrol na pressure the city so and the city be stabilize. Number 2, okatre and say ebeboa my petrol bo ayefo because $60 and $1 and be determine the price is at the beko. But me akasase money ade kire. 3, ebeboa my cost of living akofom. Because cost of living is always driven by petroleum prices. And 1, ebe stabilize city. 2, ebema eye petrol bo akofom. 3, ebe reduce cost of living. This is what Baumia told us. Baumia be katre say 2024 election. Omo be katre say even klasa good for oil policy in krana eye eno ne pilot implementation. Entinka after 2024 say MPP na win on a win ya or be institutionalizing no afedi e ba afibo ba omi a good for oil policy na say 2022 2023 o ma me mu akontant yen even when Ghanaians were demanding why na ye di gold ne koma no middleman ben yes yen country da sa templeton bond one the middleman yan trader
COVID-19 you middleman
but me be catch as a good for oil policy is successful abua Ghana that's a nyane na bayanka Ghana the economy ni collapse here nano Bank of Ghana edin report by ya 2023 first year of gold for policy implementation Ghana boka 1.82 billion Ghana cedis.
Adie se be nyamfa so
no kotokukumba
ya boko zen
1.82 billion Ghana cedis according to Bank of Ghana. 2024 ye boka 317 million Ghana cedis.
Good for oil
policies. Just 2 years no e boyeka 2.1 billion Ghana cedis.
Ya nyamfa so.
So on average every year bia ye boka 1 billion. And so idea we na boga na ka 1 billion but me say nko we ni a nko ba be institutionalize no it means afibia na e boka na de ko ba me idea also the buy enie and about me is telling Ghana for so idea
because all rich ideas
say all rich ideas yes. These same rich ideas no de ko Zimbabwe e ko wi ase ne ase sika $5 million ne de gu hibaru ne da koto brudo abe ti anopa. Yes, sir. Zimbabwe dollar. E gu koko botom said ye koko da koko kwani ko koko kracha ko kret. Na ode kwa koto just bo fruit. E de anum koko keke. Na bag dan ko ho. Sika na ba omia ne economy no. Ideas. Ba omia ka che say wono na the father of digitalization in this country. Now because of digitalization tino, eliminating ghost names in Ghana. Eye aketu mo wanka.
Okay.
Nano National Service thereby 87,000 ghost names Yatime generated 87,000 ghost names from 2018 to 2024. 6 good years. Sabrenwa napkofo esu. I into Mokano. Na ye tria and Samanfoka. Na Baomianum no or ye de say there's no ghost names in our payroll because that 6 years no. Etimi kose Ghana. Yatime wia Ghana. 548 million Ghana cedis. Na no mami bia na ono gono so kwa corporate council of state won sa Ashanti region nipa minu na eyi omuti oba ba ku bi no so MPP ni no so corporate council of state ono so kan crofo afide na yi omo no omo ma wie sika na di no ono ni sika wa wie awadi a enquire about $5 million na no kwa koye play bargaining attorney general say won som international training kom to no nko an sika training kom over 50 million
o se ma me ben
o dia yo che ku benya di no Ashanti region oba besia ba kuno ne sa ohire no a ono so nyina MPP for no mkwa kopre later no no withdraw ye o kan crofo national service sika no ma wia no ka hu bi
na la bianca suka ho but la bianca de so ye
ono kwa $5 million over in Ghana and forest exchange rate now $5 million which is 50 million and a tro ono kwa no kom to oba wia Ghana sika outside the corporate council of state all of them me so okwa play okoye play bargain yampene ye beje sika obese dem but me ka said the vision for what in opposition but me ka say me ntia Mahama abe president ako opposition abe president ono ba me so wait my president you see but me say so always want to Mahama ho say history Mahama was a president Mahama was a vice president from vice president he became president
before he became another
before he became opposition leader and no be president who from vice president straight to opposition
calculation in fact
Mahama was president who you've never be a president when you're president so da na sanye kanwa Mahama experience or war Mahama has been assembly member who ba me a classmate a class prefect cry election kwa contest bida Mahama ba be ye MP Mahama aye deputy minister Mahama aye minister Mahama aye vice president why president aye former president as abe president o don beto to Mahama de Mahama baye Mahama no ankasa ne track record
wasa caretaker president
se Mahama be president for 4 years and obedi nsɛmfo said you only Akufo de bedi 8 years a kamese ka Ghana fo etwa Mahama su
na ka Ghana fo be Mahama
it took Ghanaians 8 years to realize that no Mahama ni papa bi onumu Mahama be president for 4 years wo yempuntujuma across the country MMP before na afero munya bibia anka so kan say nyempuntujuma na ebedi omse nye quota na ebewe enye interchange na ebedi because when me say Mahama build hospitals across the country market across the country schools across the country roads across the country afedi MPP ni bia kan so kan say enye mpuntujuma na ebedi ada ye hies ka we kutokum na ede to abatia Mahama 8 years after Ghana for realized no ya yam from so no masa kofa Mahama aba no omo fa Mahama a man vote difference over almost 2 million because it took Ghanaians 8 years to realize whoa Baumia just 6 months Ghana are looking for opportunity to even vote against MPP today Ghana ni be na almost na voters ID card on bottom almost church electoral commission by organizing emergency election only for them to vote against a MPP again. Now global info analytics ayomo a poll on the buy MPP vote to class are reduce Mahama approval rate is over 70%. What about to Mahama? What's what been winning Sikasam come for? Yeah, the inflation now 15.4. What made the inflation every 15.4 equal could do 54%. Trouble to who fra bam kwa na what they are buy and crown now I'm 25% now die from 15%. Yeah, the exchange rate now. You can do other propaganda with the economy, but when the fundamentals are weak, exchange rate will expose you. Exchange rate 4.2. What the Koya could do 17 Ghana cedis.
20. Maybe
who the Frabam Wujan crack diacono. None 16, 17 Ghana cedis.
Why? It do 20. Oh yes, it's
yeah, man, debt to GDP.
Yes,
debt to GDP. Who inherited debt to GDP? Satakpe betena sisi anoka. 57% according to Kenufrata Kola CNDC debt to GDP 56%. But I am fat
56 point something.
And to them fast because Satakpe was the last finance minister. 57%. What it means in say a can NDC buy there. 120.2 no ye ton Ghana Japade ne Ghana na manyina ye do hama bu pen 56 or 57% betua 43 and 44% ebeka me ada hwe ho wo ba o me na say na also what rich ideas no ultimate the debt to GDP ekokodu 104%. What it means say ya ton Japade ne nyina kura wie ton Ghana nyina ton born generation kura ye sa de ka 4%.
Ayi say me sam bo am kakra
and na wo so idea wo so vision wo the vision ba be de ba bo Ghana mama any Satakpe economy nim ja na ye B ye rating B wo be far from B and be do junk status baller economy and na wo ja wo so idea wo de ba be ye den mama economy nim ja wo because na ratings ni ye na confidence ni high enti wo buy ya no within 3 months and now call 10 printing na call you 2.25 billion euro bond every quarter na kero furata ko raise bond what be raise bond no afi kra de okwa enso to now they done kenke party and the economy about me awujaye 8 years ahead of economic management team we cannot go to euro bond and na yentimi nko international market ko pa bosia bia enti na Ghana ba pa bosia you say can say treasure bill locally and you generate gentlemen because of the economy you left. What kind of ideas? First time in the history after a champion. Young TB da sega na de kana ban se mintua. Who baumia kilantia. Baumia the rare kilantia.
Kilantia na
yeah, kilantia no baumia is the rare kilantia. What's the one tia? What Jamie wa for pensioner for sika omu usimintua. Papa is Samuel Jakum na ni papa kwesi ya kama pharmaceuticals group of company. Wo di papa yi ka papa pe bia to aduro kilantua ba o me asemintua. Emre wa for atu wichem ati Ministry of Finance pekete. Ewiakete ba mu ba o me kilantua wasimintua.
Mo musika o.
Emre wa for nam nsuo mu esu. Over 200 of our pensioners and woo ye out of because of DDP akofa de baye omo ka manu asem nyina susu bi o mesu bi akilantua ba omia wusi wuntua ampana pa wantua
some for 2 minutes rapia
ba omia hu se mere wafo no enenye omo nyina ne we kakraka ento se pe kwana ba finish omo ese akwa bi o chi ka na o de ka konu nipam amani pa bibire wu ne achi ni ko police station e bi san se aden o so me drive no ena me hu se nipa mienu omu twam ena na me break ate ena me nsa nifa so no nipa gu ho bebre na obusan so senka wa beru so se me ni bekum nipa bebre senka no bekum nipa me say yes me boba akono na ba kudwa no ko share crowd no mu ena me de toa no ho that's about my mentality
wakukum
mienu na kum nipa duro nyina ka ho wo hu se mere wafo ne kwakrafo no ma wu because of domestic debt exchange no akakakra we akiri enti e ma ne na no be finish o mo kwata kedo furata enim so obegu nkrofo banks ebegu na mo adwuma na obegimre wafo ne kwakrofo sika ma o ma wu nti no ana osama na adwuma ku enterprise o mo ko bie eyesa a funeral home na wo kwan so mo friend senkra funeral homes na wo hacho ho no transition enti onu a wogu adwuma na pressure foul
Sami afama also when could be
only say enterprise insurance there
can offer funeral homes in India
enterprise there
transition unim
enterprise can offer company
enterprise wo largest share
omo dia can offer ninsa wo yes enti wogu adwuma wo block usika wonu se skani so de onya yin sika free nsem se para dwenje be kosro
yes sika
na adwenje kwatwa ne pressure be kosro
yes sika nyina
pressure kosro be wu we ya kero frata simini transition
na ya ma
dara minya wayi aye contractor na wasaje
je se wahyehyɛ
kosi sɛ wobɛwu yes wɔde wadaka ato hɔ wadaka wo mfa soɔ baabi abusuafoɔ bɛbɔ yɛ ɔsi daabi mommra ha yɛa ma wayi power ha mommɛtena ase sɛ mone bosea koraa na mone sika mɛbɔ bosea that is the economy MPP left na kena Japan yi na kena Japan say yɛwɔ nkurɔfoɔ bi a ɔmo so ɔmo ideas yet they are poor ɛne yɛwɔ nkurɔfoɔ bi ɔmo ideas na ɔmo aputu into practice ama ideas na create opportunities a create work wɔsi deɛ Ghana hia ɛyɛ doers ɛnyɛ political suit ɔmo nyina na ɔmo kasa
obi second in Japan kwade ɔmo yɛ ibiada so 40 him something but who the why vice president
ɛnti Baumia global info analytics for report of that batch say Baumia still stand tall ɛwɔ MPP na NDC for crap ba ɛyɛ Canada Japan ma me ka se me kyerɛ NDC for pe Baumia is the weakest candidate.
NDC for pe Baumia.
How can Baumia campaign in 2028 when NDC ultimately reduce inflation we did from 25 to 18
in 6 months.
How can Baumia campaign in 2028 when NDC ultimately stabilizes the city from 16-17 Ghana cedis to 10 Ghana cedis? How can Baumia campaign NDC ultimately for petrol 18 Ghana cedis per liter and 10 Ghana cedis 11 cedis? How can MPP campaign? How can Baumia campaign after leaving economy junk status not less than 6 months? NDC are picking from junk status to B. Who better campaign and Baumia and NDC pay because Canada Japan will be kai I feel no ban to be any obet my so media abandon back from my position be na menka cabinet ho and it economy manager economy na me dey business e be a Ghana for be o ma adwene wo form e beji atum na wo Baumia let him come
very well. Baumia what can come
mesre kwai na yakoto aso akire ho enti ebehia ti alaji tam na kanyina medim tam nyina ma
me chetiefo me chia menua
wonti me nkɔhyɛ enu kyerɛ won tade ne papa ne den design
keche
clothing
no
bisi
odie be ko ho
na ene kyerɛ wo mede mate
odie be ko ho woni ha
keche clothing me chia wate
kache ya ba
wo kyerɛ wo me pa kyɛw
ya nam kwa so
bo consider obi kura ebi allergy bawo
unipa boni ni say ura ba mi ase
nana na miti appointing miti former finance minister o share a free time na o ye finance minister up to time of free abaimu utimi hu nema no omo hihye the economy was something to write home about NPP ba abaimu omo hyase omo maye nyina ehu se nia MPP nia NDC na omo ye eya dia na eha oman Ghana na omo ni the alternative political party ombetumi esisi ne mayi mayen na wohwe omohihye ya omudi baaye after NDC in 2016 obia na oti asisa time and up till date no wetime ehu clear difference and clear manifestation of the fact that say near NDC eye near MPP eye the margins that NDC got in 2024 nobody will tell you say the economy that was manned or managed by NPP was something that nipa bia na oti Ghana we a foreigner and a Ghanaian and we a where na enso ye ni enuti na yemo mu sa defeating humiliating defeat more than 2 million unprecedented difference dear NPP anybody leading NPP should have it in mind say you will not just get it easy you will need to work and work extra to the extent that people or the good people of this country would take you serious. And in economies what determines the living or factors that determine the living conditions of every Ghanaian will tell you that one, job security or employment. They are one of the factors that influences living standard. Then economic stability, idea enhance the living conditions of its citizens, and then that's all of this will emanate from what's good governance, and then also would enhance productivity. Now, we share access to healthcare, idea enhance the living standard of every Ghanaian. We also share access to education, and then crime rates. Reduced or bearable crime rate, and idea enhance the living conditions of every Ghanaian. Now, we shall see how the NPP in 2016, NDC in 2016, the rate of employment na omujaye. We knew, if you recall, na 14%, and I do 14%. So you juxtapose the fact that NDC, or NPP campaigned heavily on unemployment.
I think 14.7 or something.
Now, NDC, yeah. So NDC was seen as a political party that has no social interventions, that has no ideas as far as the economic activities of this country is concerned. So NPP made us to believe that the political party called NPP was the only alternative. They have all the solutions for the issues of this country. So we all were scammed. I use these words to believe in saying Nanado was the Messiah of our time. So therefore, let's give him that opportunity so that he can come and exhibit the economic experiences that he touted. Now, the introduction of his vice president and the rest of the management team are now the solid management messiahs, the solid management team are now representative for this country. That would tell you that, look, in this country, yes, we have the brains, we could have the brains, but the good heart for this country, in their minds, in their hearts, anyhow. The people who would fight for Mother Ghana to get to the promised land are self-centered and selfish individuals. TTO, the NPP members. We share the living conditions of Ghanaians in 2016 and the living conditions of Ghanaians in 20...
But you see, okay, he's not asking for employment, he's asking for unemployment rate.
Yes.
So I think it's 14% under NPP.
Yes, I think so.
Because now I have my 8.7%.
Good. Yes. So that was.
I think 14% under MPP.
And the MPP.
Yeah.
What you say. So you're looking at the conditions of NDC in NDC regime in 2016 and conditions of NPP after 2024. You will understand the clear difference, irrespective of the the promises made. Now, before Ansana, you and I would consider that my living conditions or standard is comparable to any other, citizens across the globe. It depends on how much your salary and how much you can, go to the market and come home so that you can make, and the propensity to save. A lot of people consider, because if at the end of the day, one minute juma and I can get the work at any given time, juma now so no katuyano at the end of the day is hand to mouth. That would not be seen as what a stable living conditions. We share at the time when NPP was campaigning. Now your campaign no more campaigning big in the area of unemployment, to the extent that at the time you were Graduate Unemployed Association masinated by NPP. Okay, no more NPP na o show musi.
Make our president bless.
What you say? Good. Na omu influence sa associations.
NPP we na eguye.
Na these are political, plans and over to me strategies over to me a winning power. But they tell you that the Gomba man will tell you that if you use a morning dew to build a house, very good. The rain that comes, the real rain that comes would collapse it. So this is what happens. So which one throw any to me? Won't mean throw and continue. And so this is what we saw the unemployment rate inherited from 8.5 or 8.9, and then you live in power at 14.7. Dear, monumentally, no, you cannot say me buy no be. Even though the amount of money they spent and I almost say in the area of NAPCO. And if indeed say OSP want to really do his work, the coast names and no NSS NAPCO coast names are na ewo NAPCO na Baumia the day are not almost launching NAPCO at Independence Square. Baumia was mentioning in an excess of 900,000. Abra na omun drew even 9,000.
You're talking of 90,000.
90,000, right? Yes, sorry, no 90,000.
100,000.
There be name drew 100,000.
No,
even
I'm saying
at the time,
that I know that they made us to believe.
To believe, yes.
So he was making
90,000
of 90,000
in essence, not 900. But at the end of the day, if say wuko detailed forensic auditor, nobody will tell you say na ghost names can and at the end of the day, they wasted the resources of this
Unfortunately,
country.
we have 5 minutes to wrap up.
Oh, why?
Only 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
My goodness.
Interviews will have more country so that it forms part of it.
Okay, so Chair, this current NDC has come to prove to us near na NPP na extra say na they didn't know the real situations of the economy. Look at the stable nature of the economy from January till date, 6 months, and look at how the CD has gained power. Look at how the inflation has dropped from 25 to 18 within 6 months. At the end of the day, manage the economy. There was no interest for that matter, considering the economic hardship. DFM, at the end of the day, even the working class complaining just because of the dollar to CD differentials. Whatever happens, even to the extent say the fuel at the end of the day around 17, 15 and thereabout. So look at what we are benefiting from. Good governance. Look at what is happening today. The dollar is struggling to gain 8 feet. The CD is rising, gaining grounds every day. For that matter, we share how to fuel. Even today, I bought fuel less than 11 cedis. This is what Ghanaians would always wish for.
You bought fuel less than 12 cedis.
Less than 11 cedis. Today,
are you serious?
I'm telling you, yes, it's 10.8.
We talking for 10 cedis.
I'm saying 10 Star Oil is selling at 10.8. I bought fuel today.
Like seriously?
I'm telling you, today the bank rates 10 cedis. Bank is selling $4.4 at 10.45.
Wow.
I'm telling you, yes. So to that extent,
no, because at least 11 cedis.
Yes, to that extent, you would have the trust and then confidence in this government that foreign investors can come in to invest. Obia or exporting and importing will tell you, say, look, this is the right time to do investment in Ghana. This is the right time to do business in Ghana. And for that matter, anybody under NPP and under NDC will tell you that we have people who have this country at heart. Who would take Ghana to a level where every Ghanaian would say Alhamdulillah because of the interest they have in this country. And because we don't have time. Because I wanted to give out what influences the living standard of
maybe
everybody another time. Yes, Midas.
Thank you, Harina. Thank you so much.
100.5
Okay. I'm also say anytime heba ebe twetwe nkomo. We hwe
Accra FM.
Oba ho fefo abetnasia. Otim so won sembe breka.
Accra FM.
Ibidi san komo no. Ma me no te say akwaba.
Meje osemi nua be ma.
microphone ka voice ni de mu ye o
me da se
wow no kura na ekumi no kejagum Ghana 40
me da se papa pa ye de nchia sonko kra